Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Tailosive EV live on YouTube. We've only got 30 minutes to go until Tesla starts the annual shareholder meeting. Hope y'all are doing great. So we have 30 minutes to speculate or just catch up, or you guys can ask about whatever. Just try to keep it EV related, I guess. But yeah, I was a little torn on this one, to be completely honest with you, because I remember the annual shareholder meeting last year, and they tend to pull a lot of questions to shareholders that feel very one-sided. Like they skew the question to make it seem impossible or completely unreasonable to say no to, even though the outcome of a lot of the proposals tends to just be, we need to hire a team of people that decide whether or not we're doing good enough with our supply chain or our hiring, diversity and that kind of thing. And it's like, don't they already do that type thing? It's just adding more people to something that I feel like half the time doesn't need to be there or is already present. Um, and a lot of the questions are just repetitive and we've kind of already addressed them and that kind of thing. So I was not like terribly pumped for this one, so I let it be a poll for the audience. I was like, hey, but how about you guys decide? If you want me to react to it, I'll react to it, and if you don't want me to react to it, I won't. And it seemed like more than 2/3 of the people voted in the community poll yesterday in favor of, yes, we want you to react to it. I don't know why. I think well, I wanted to do an EV stream anyway, so this is just a good excuse to. But um I also think that like part of it might be because we're getting so close to Cybertruck production and there's a lot of hype surrounding Project Highland. So there's just this false expectation people are having that, well, maybe they have something to update. Maybe they'll provide us with an update about the Cybertruck, or about maybe they'll refresh the Model 3, or maybe they'll unveil something. They usually don't. This is typically not when Tesla unveils something that affects their product lineup or anything, but I'm just trying to figure out why people are so interested in these shareholder meetings, especially after Investor Day, which I felt like was already just a shareholder meeting. So here's hoping this event is not is not like another 5 hour long presentation. Let me lock myself in here. So buckle up, because I am. No, I'm kidding. I don't need to buckle up. But yeah, it's just fun to watch together. I guess John is correct. I think I'd have a lot less fun watching it if it was just me, but maybe because there's a live chat and we can kind of commentate on the event as it's happening, maybe that makes it more entertaining. But just for the record, I'm expecting this to be very dry. And I personally think the shareholder meeting is just going to recap basically everything we already heard at Investor Day. So hopefully I've got some good jokes for you. The pouch cells would be an interesting development if they were actually making them at scale. But yeah, Jordan from the Limiting Factor pointed out that the permit at Giga Shanghai for the pouch cell production is enough to build one Model Y per year. So the pouch cells, I believe, are likely for some kind of accessory or merch or something else. I don't think it's for actual vehicles, um, based on the filing application they've made. I don't think it's like Tesla switching their vehicles over to pouch cells. But yeah, there's lots of people at the shareholder meeting that flew all the way out to Texas for this event. Um, Matthew DR is checking out the Cybertruck out front. I've been analyzing these pictures. I don't see really anything too out of the ordinary. Once again, that tail light looks awfully large, and I'm already noticing panel gaps. I guess you got a decent look at the door buttons. You can tell where you push inward to open the doors here, so I doubt they're really self-presenting. They probably just automatically unhook. And then there's probably a tow hitch behind this thing. There was another shot, I think, from Dirty Tesla that, see, it would be so much cooler if they actually just put out a just bring out the Cybertruck with the frunk open. Here it is. Dirty Tesla got a shot of the Cybertruck, and you can kind of see the seam here along the edges where it seems pretty obvious that this is one big piece that opens upward. Um, and this shot was kind of interesting to me. It looks, well, you can see the new Cyber Woke which a lot of people seem to like. I'm not a huge fan of it personally because I'd rather just have the yoke, but this seems like the crowd pleaser solution. I'm not buying a Cybertruck, so big whoop. But this looks more like a mirror to me, even though I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a display. Um, or maybe it can do both. It can switch back and forth. I guess he zoomed in on some of the tire specs here. Love those hubcaps, though. I'm glad they brought those to this model as well. And you should be able to. Oh, sorry, wrong one. You should be able to see the event along with me, but because I need to be able to read the chat, and I think Tesla made it harder basically to read the chat on the Tesla Theater app. It might be harder for me to capture my own display. Let me try this real quick. I'm logged in. I'm gonna go to my channel, see that I'm live. I want to read your guys' chat on the Tesla display. How cool would that be? Yeah, it's not here. It's literally nowhere. I open the live stream and I can see the live stream, but there's no chat section at all. It tells me how many viewers there are, and I can see the description, but not the. Would it be different if I tried it from a different account? I'm mad because it used to not be this way. This is the double-edged sword of software updates in cars. On one hand, it gets better over time. On the other hand, it gets worse with time. They remove things. Um, Let me switch to a different account and search myself up and see if the chat is there. Um, nope, it's still not there. Okay, so there's literally just no way at all to see the. They don't even overlay it on the stream. This is so weird. I'm looking at a video feed of myself in my car. Okay, I'll have to lay out a little bit differently. Not the woke. Oh no. The light bar reminds me of a Prius. I'm gonna take that as an insult, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure it is. David L says I actually have a job pending my drug test at the Austin Gigafactory. Unfortunately, it's not going to be working on the Cybertruck. Well, that's still cool that you're helping Tesla out, David. I think that's a very honorable field. You're helping them out. You're helping them accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. Honestly, if I lived closer to a Tesla factory and YouTube went kaput, that would probably be one of my first job applications. Well, it would definitely be my first application. I've never made a job application, but I would love I would love to work there. Well, I like the idea of working there. Maybe actually working there would suck more than I think. Um, David says, "Do you guys want the stock to go up or down? Because I can make it do either. If you want it to tank, I will buy. If you want it to pump, I won't buy before market close. If the stock can if there's any kind of pattern to follow with the stock, I would say, oh, I do have the web browser. That's a good point. Maybe I should try that. Maybe if I bring up YouTube on the web, but it's not full screen, which makes it kind of hard. Nope. See, when you click on YouTube, it just opens the app. Don't you hate it when they're like, "Oh, let me get that for you," and they don't know what you're talking about? Maybe if I went studio YouTube. Don't open the app. Oh, it wants me to log in and everything. Oh, brother. Yeah, this might end up being rather complicated because it's going to do two-factor authentication. Can I access Studio from the Theater app? We're doing a real-time Tesla Cyber Wiper, yeah. That does look pretty. Your channel, YouTube Studio. Oh, let me click on that. Oh, this might work. Wow, I can access YouTube Studio through the Tesla Theater app? Oh my God. Okay, so the browser is not the solution. But there is an option to click YouTube. Oh, thank you, Mersey, by the way, for supercharging the channel. Tesla stock loves to tank when there's good news. That's true. I was about to. You took the words out of my mouth. Basically, anytime. Yeah. View in live control room. This might work. Please work. Please work. Yes! Oh, wow. This is so cool. Okay. Look, I actually have more options here. I can fit the whole chat and my control settings on the entire display. I can see how many people are watching. I can see the stream health. I can see viewer activity. This is more useful than my iPad. Tesla has the superior tablet, guys. Stream settings. Wow. And I can end the stream right from here too. Perfect. When things get cringy, I'll just wrap it up. This is so fun. I didn't even think about this, but yeah, I can insert an ad. I can make you guys watch more commercials so I make more money. No, I won't do that. Just kidding. Thank you, Mersey, for your support. Just as a reminder for those tuning in, I have redesigned the membership tiers for the people with green names. If you don't care about your name being in the outro of the videos, there is a cheaper tier now. Our lowest tier perk is 99 cents a month. Yes, that means less than $12 a year. I mostly have it just for behind the scenes data research of like showing people here's what I'm working on next, and you can help me vote on what to make next. So most people voted in favor of the Aptera safety video, so that's what I did next, and you can see what videos are to come. Wow, this is great. Sorry, I'm just so impressed. I want to just read the chat now on the Tesla. Alpha says, this is why Tesla is the best EV, YouTube Studio. You could not do that on a Lucid. You could not do that on a Rivian. I don't think so. Does a Rivian have a browser? Actually, I don't remember. Oh, you know what's kind of interesting is the chat is open on the Tesla shareholder meeting. I wonder why. Sorry, now I'm used to universal control. I want to like move my mouse over to the Tesla display, but it's not there. Tesla stock is expensive. No one can predict anything about such an expensive stock. We're terrible at predicting Tesla stock motions, but pretty much anytime there's an earnings call, there's an event, the stock tends to go down afterwards. I think mostly because people get overexcited and they get really hyped about something. And then like today, for no reason whatsoever, there's probably half a billion people expecting Tesla to unveil Cybertruck news and talk about Cybertruck specs and pricing today. And of course, that's not going to happen because Tesla's we're going to save that for another day. We'll save that for a dedicated event. And that's probably just not what's going to happen. So, can I scroll? Yeah, I can scroll through the chat too. I can't believe I never tried this. Jackie says, what do you know about the new Model Y 2024? I know everything that Tesla knows about the 2024 Model Y, which is nothing. Tesla changes their opinion on products and offerings and prices on a weekly basis, which means that there's really no one that knows anything about the Model Y. All there is rumors. I think it's called Project Jupiter or something. But the Highland leaks actually align a lot with I think the demand it's not a demand issue, it's like a demand off balance, asymmetrical demand problem. I think the issue is that the Model 3 is too close in price to the Model Y, and the Model Y, all the Model Ys qualify for the full tax credit, whereas most of the Model 3s do not, which means that the long-range Model Y is actually cheaper than the long-range Model 3. So I believe over 50% of all of Tesla's orders now are just for the Model Y, and that is resulting in very few people going for the Model 3. Even though I think the Model 3 is a great car, and I would still buy it again if I could. I love the Model 3. I'm geeking out about it right now. um, but I still think that if they refresh, if they do Project Highland, they update the interior, they update the headlights and the brake lights and the tail lights and everything. If they make the Model 3 feel fresh and new and unique, then there will likely be an increased amount of demand for the Model 3, and that will kind of justify that it's close in price to the Model Y, because it'll be newer and fresher and more. I think it'll get the Model S style steering wheel and that kind of thing. And then less people will opt for the Model Y, and hopefully with the redesigned project Highland, it'll be cheaper to build, so they'll have more margin, or they can lower prices further. Um, hey, Burkhart's here. Jasmine says, Drew, you're in a fishbowl. Any tint in your future? Not necessarily because you have something to hide, but to protect yourself from the sun. Oh, I get sunburned no matter what. No, I love my fishbowl. My fishbowl is cool. I thought you were talking about my audio. How do I sound, by the way? I want to get the chat's perspective. Do I sound okay? Because I'm actually testing something I don't think I've tested previously, which is that I am using voice isolation mode on my Mac, so that it cuts out background noise, and that way I can run the air conditioner, because where I live it's actually getting quite hot. It's heating up, so I might start working in the car more regularly simply because the HVAC in here is so quiet and so efficient compared to the HVAC we have inside. Yeah, Ivan, I heard that they're taking down the Model 3 production line at Free. Well, I don't think that's what the rumor explicitly said, but that's most likely what it is. People say the sound is good. Thank you, guys. Thank you for checking in. Look at all these people that showed up. You guys are all going to be so disappointed when the event starts. I'm going to take this opportunity to remind everybody. So, I'm not expecting a huge flood of orders all coming in at once, obviously, but I'm very excited because Tesla brought back the referral program. And just as a thank you, as a reminder to anybody that uses my referral code, I will moderate so that I will mod you so that I can identify you for one. You know, I wish I could just hand out the channel membership perks. YouTube doesn't let me do that, but I wish you could. But if you use my referral code to order a Tesla, and you can prove it through just tweet it at me that what your name is and how you ordered it or whatever, or write it in the comments because I should see it in the loot box what your name is, or what you ordered or whatever. As long as you get proof to me that you used my code, I will mod you so that you're a moderator in these streams, and I can thank you personally, and I can identify that you used my code, and I just want to say thank you to anybody that did use it. I saw, I think one or two people comment that they already used it, so they're awaiting delivery, I guess. Um, Will Cybertruck come to Europe? I don't think for a long time. I mean, I won't say never, but I don't think the version that they make at Giga Texas will. I don't think they're going to import Giga Texas made Cybertrucks to Europe. I think if they do make a Cybertruck that's smaller and more optimized for international countries, there's a decent chance. Mike and I think, talked about this on the podcast. My suggestion is that they would build them in Mexico, because Giga Mexico, according to Dave Lee's off the record interview with Tesla executives, he said Giga Mexico is not trying to import cars into the US. The point of Giga Mexico is to deliver cars to the Latin America market, South America, you know, Chile, Brazil, Argentina, Venezuela, and Mexico, of course. Um, and I looked up what the most popular vehicle trims are in that region, and it's mostly smaller sized pickup trucks. So I thought a smaller sized, what Elon referred to as a Wolverine edition Cybertruck, start with that, and then you can import it to Europe if there is a little bit of demand for it, or Australia. But yeah, are you streaming through the Tesla YouTube? I'm streaming off of my MacBook Pro, but I'm reading the chat off of my car. Oh, but I am watching. Yeah, I'm watching the annual shareholder meeting on my MacBook, so you guys can watch it with me. Um, what did someone ask earlier? Do I believe that they will be able to achieve actual robotaxis with hardware 3, or do you think they will only be available on hardware 4? I'm not convinced it'll be available with hardware 4, to be honest. I'm getting more and more bearish by the day on robotaxis. I love Tesla. I love their products. I love owning their products. I love having my own car. I like the products that exist. I like the products that are into production. I think that's why so many people are obsessed with the Cybertruck, because it is a more utility focused Tesla, and it's more durable and more rugged so that it can last longer. And I like that. That's what I updated my bios recently, both for this channel and on my Twitter bio. I updated it to say, the three pillars of a Tailosive EV, or you could say, or the things I love the most about electric vehicles are efficiency, affordability, and independence. Those are my three pillars. Maybe you guys can come up with your own three pillars. What's most important for an EV for you? But the independence part is, meaning like there's less to maintain, there's less to focus on keeping it around, like there's less steps. Basically, that's independence is a middle finger to robo-taxis, as in I want to own my own car. I don't want to have to rely on some public access vehicle that someone's going to throw up in and then shows up in my house, and they can change the pricing on it willy-nilly. And independent also leans toward, it's also a middle finger to Electrify America, relying on third-party charging networks that require you to download apps that aren't very good, and are buggy and unreliable. It's also a appraisal. Independence is another appraisal of Aptera being able to charge itself, or it's the concept. It's applauding the concept of having your own solar, your own power wall, off grid living, so that you decide your battery pack, like how you charge it, where the energy comes from. It's not reliant on some kind of public infrastructure, I guess. So efficiency, of course, I love, and this is basically the most efficient vehicle you can buy. Few exceptions with some $90,000 Lucid Airs, but I don't really count those because they're so expensive. And of course, that goes directly against the affordability argument. I love efficiency and I love independence, but if the vehicle is $100,000 plus, like the Lightyear EV, then it's hard to get excited for. Okay, it's really efficient, but no one can afford it. So what's the point? So those three pillars are, in my view, the most important things in an EV. The independence, which Tesla is more independent because it can rely on a first party charging infrastructure, Tesla superchargers, and you can install Tesla Powerwalls and have this closed ecosystem. It also supports the Aptera mindset of not needing to plug in at all. And affordability. This is the cheapest Tesla you can buy, basically. Other than the white interior, that's the one thing we optioned for. Everything else is standard. The white paint, the 18-inch aero wheels, Model 3 rear-wheel drive. This was the most affordable Tesla we could get at the time when we bought it. And I think that's why so many people are excited for Cybertruck, is not so that they can turn it into a robotaxi, but because they want to go off-roading with it. They want to go camping with it. They want to get work done with it. They want to be productive with it. It's not just, cars are so much more than just transportation, and I don't think that gets talked about enough. And I think that's what the robotaxi thesis is lacking. The problem with assuming that nobody will own cars in the future and we'll just all use robotaxis is you're assuming that all we need cars for is transportation, and that's not, in my head, that's not true. I think it will complement public transportation, which is great, and I've got nothing against public transportation for those that are willing to use it, and for those who don't want to buy a car because of the financial burden or the parking or whatever. That's fine. I'm not against any form of public transportation, but I'm against the concept that with enough public transportation we wouldn't need to own cars anymore. That I disagree with. Um, when Hummer EV going to be in production? It's been in production for months. It's just they only build like two of them. Completely self-driving level 5 is very far away. Level 3 is pretty close. I hope so. I'm far more interested. I'm far more invested in um, level 3 self-driving, because that's the idea of, again, I'm not trying to say I'm against driver assistance features. I like the idea of the car doing more of the driving. I use autopilot whenever I'm on the freeway. But I would like my own car that's mine and no one else's to drive me around autonomously. That's my dream. From the beginning, my dream was always, it'd be cool if I could just get in the car and tell it where I want to go, and then I can watch a movie or go to sleep or read a book, or just, not have to focus on the road. And I do think that in some ways, robots will probably be much better drivers than humans are. Humans aren't that great at driving anyway. But in other ways, in more complicated edge cases, I still think having a human there to navigate a construction zone or a weird parking situation like my driveway, I would be very impressed to see if a robotaxi could figure out my gravel driveway and where you don't turn versus where you do turn and where you do park. Um, I would be more impressed by full self-driving beta if they actually made the jump to level 3, at least in the I think what I've learned from following full self-driving beta after 3 years now of everybody saying, "Wow, it's really good. It's almost there." Another week goes by. "Wow, it's really good. It's almost there." And then Elon says, "Oh, the next version is amazing. It's really, really good." And then we go, "Oh boy, here it comes." And then it finally comes, and it's not that great. But all the people in the internal FSD beta tester field, they're all claiming that it's perfect and flawless and there's zero intervention drives. And then a year later, they all talk about how terrible it was a year later. So there needs to be like more tangible upgrades to me, rather than just, "Oh, it looks good. It did this turn good. It did that turn bad." Because that's what we've been documenting for the past 3 years, and I don't think it's that interesting anymore. I've kind of lost interest in watching the videos, because it's like, okay, it can perform great in one city, and on that same update, it'll perform terribly in another city. And if Tesla's not willing to assume more liability, then it's just a cool party trick. Ultimately, I still have to pay attention. And for inner city driving, I'm just going to pay ultra attention. Now, a lot of people are probably honestly more stressed than anything. Looks like Tesla started the live stream, but it's probably just music. So just letting you know, I see it. Um, I couldn't run my business if there was only robocars. Well, there's all kinds of automation that takes away jobs, but um, let's see. I love autopilot in heavy traffic and on long trips, but dang, there are all sorts of issues. Oh yeah, there's still all kinds of problems with my autopilot. They haven't changed the free version of autopilot or enhanced autopilot in like 4 years. And I'm not making that up. Tesla said that themselves. When they finally switched to the single stack code, where full self-driving is the same stack of code that works on the freeway as it does in inner city driving, they said in the release notes, this replaces the 4-year road navigate on autopilot code. That was their wording. So that's their way of saying that unless you have FSD beta, you're using autopilot code that hasn't been touched in 4 years. I take issue with that. I think that the free version should get more attention because if people were more impressed by how flawless and how reliable the free version was, then they would feel more inclined to spend more money. But when you give people a dated, broken, free autopilot version, and it still makes mistakes. Like every time the lane opens up, my car jerks around on the freeway in the exact same parts at the exact same time. Super annoying, disturbs other passengers in the car, and the speed limit sign thing. Like when autopilot performs poorly, you don't feel good about dropping $6,000 or $15,000 on FSD. You don't want to spend more money on a bad service you're getting. If you're having a great time and you're told that, well, if you spend a little more, you can get even better performance, you'll probably get an uptick. And I don't think that gets talked about enough. I think people just have a bad experience with regular autopilot and go, this sucks. I don't trust that self-driving stuff. And then you have a bunch of Tesla bulls that try to jump down their throat and say, no, you just need to buy the $15,000 bet. You need to spend $200 a month and get in the beta program. And then they spend the 200 and then they don't get the update and they're waiting for it. Oh, it's because you're on too new of a software version. You have to wait till you can be on a lower version and you have to keep paying $200 a month until they feel like adding you to the beta. And also, you're going to get an older version of the beta than what all the YouTubers get because the YouTubers are in this inner circle that get updates right after employees, but not before it goes to wide release. It's this big mess, and every day I get a little bit more annoyed and frustrated by the business tactic Tesla is going with of keeping it with the car. Um, Tesla will eventually rebase free autopilot on FSD beta, maybe this year. People have been saying that crap for years. People would say, "Oh, they'll get to it. They'll get around to it." They've been saying that. Elon said, I think in like October of last year, that actually Smart Summon, a redesigned version of Smart Summon, was coming out in a couple weeks, and that was over 6 months ago. So yeah, that's what's funny, Jacob, is by Elon saying we're going to give out a month for free. He just instantly killed a lot of the reason for anyone to pay for full self-driving now by saying that once it's smooth and once it's consistent, we'll give everyone a free trial. Okay, so what you're saying is until you offer me a free trial, it's not smooth. It's not very good. It's going to be buggy and it's going to be jerky and it's basically just party trick material. It's fun for YouTubers, but for everyday driving, it's going to be stressful. That's basically what he admitted. In that one tweet, he probably killed a bunch of sales for FSD, which I'm fine with, but I just think he didn't think that tweet through. But that's the story of Elon Musk's life. He didn't think that tweet through. He also said they were going to make long-range rear-wheel drive Model Ys. I remember reporting on that in the United States, and they never did. I also remember him saying the standard range Model Y didn't reach their standard of excellence, so they're not going to release it. And then they released that exact same Model Y in Canada. They're selling it right now. Scientist says, I agree. Autopilot is okay, but gives me no confidence in buying FSD right now. I will wait. Yeah, especially now that you know once it's smooth and reliable, you're going to get a free month. Why would you try it now? If you try it now, that means it's not smooth. You have to understand they will waste zero resources on free autopilot when they know they will eventually switch it all to the same stack. I'm saying they should switch it to the same stack now. I understand because they haven't done anything with free autopilot. I'm just saying if you're wondering why the take rate is so low, Elon himself said that on Twitter. He's like, why don't more people know about full self-driving beta? I was like, because it's 15 grand. And very few people can actually get on it when it's that inaccessible. When you make something super expensive and not very good, not that many people are going to take it. All right, it looks like the event is starting. I'm going to turn on volume here. There we go. Wow, look how fast the chat's moving.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tesla's 2023
It's very
annual shareholder
quiet.
meeting in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, all EVs should
My name is
support
Robin
fast
Denholm.
charging. They do.
I'm Vice President of Investor Relations, and I will be the chair of today's meeting. First of all, I really wanted to thank everyone who continues to do this trip
4K
on an
at 60.
basis and shows up every time.
Jeez.
It's really quite something that we have a following as dedicated as this, so thank you very much for that.
Why is the bit rate so high? They're streaming at 4K at 60. My God.
I also wanted to thank our first-time visitors. I know that many of you won a lottery to come for the first time to a Tesla shareholder meeting.
I love the artwork so far.
You'll probably notice that unlike many other shareholder meetings of other companies, this one tends to be a bit more fun. So hope you enjoy that.
More fun?
But the last thing I really wanted to say is that just thank you so much for all your support over the years. We really feel like you're part of our mission, part of our story.
There we go.
And it's something we truly, truly value. So thank you so much for that. There will be two parts of today's meeting.
Many don't want FSD, Jacob.
Where we will cover items that stockholders have been asked to vote on, as well as any other matters that are properly presented. And after the voting, I will introduce Tesla's co-founder and CEO.
Oh, the isolation thing. How about now? How's audio now?
We'll give a presentation about Tesla's year in review. But at this time, I'd like to thank the members of the Tesla team and the board who are here with us here today. A representative from PricewaterhouseCoopers, Tesla's independent auditor, present with us as well.
Hi from Norway. Wow.
But before we begin, I'd like to introduce you to Tesla's chair, Robin Denholm, who would like to say a few words.
Tesla's chair? The cyber chair.
I'm a little bit shorter. So, hello everyone.
Did she tell us to short Tesla?
On behalf of the board, I am really honored to welcome you all here today to the 2023 annual shareholder meeting. It's wonderful for me to see everyone in the room today and also the many investors that have joined us today via the virtual live stream.
That's me.
It's our third straight year of having the annual meeting here in Austin. At the first meeting, the factory was still in the early stages of development with equipment being installed and commissioned.
I feel so old.
During the 2022 meeting,
3 years
production
now.
had started to ramp as we produced about 1,600 vehicles that week. And now, less than a year later, we have more than tripled the amount, having achieved production of 5,000 cars in a single week.
And they're all the Model Y. I don't think any of them are performance Model Ys.
A huge congratulations to the Texas team.
Yeah, she should be wearing the short shorts.
And on top of that, we are getting ready to roll out our first Cybertrucks.
That we'll give away for free through the referral program.
This exponential trajectory of the Gigafactory here in Texas is a reflection of Tesla as a whole. In 2022 was another record-breaking year for us, with deliveries growing by 40% year over year. And that trend has continued in the first quarter of 2023. We would not be able to achieve this growth without the dedication of our amazing employees. I've been fortunate enough over the years to actually travel to many of our locations, all of the gigafactories around the world, and I can tell you that I've witnessed firsthand how our exceptional employees in our global talent across the world has together achieved our mission or furthered our mission of accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. A huge round of applause, please.
Is that a cyber microphone? Do you see anyone you recognize?
This year, here in Texas, we also had our very first Investor Day, where we introduced our company leaders from design to engineering to supply chain, manufacturing, energy and charging.
Whoa, I can shrink it.
And they each spoke about the role of their teams in making our mission come to life. And I was thrilled that investors were able to hear directly from this outstanding leadership team that Elon has been able to put together over many, many years.
Thanks, Elon.
It is on the strength of their leadership and the hard work of our dedicated employees around the world that I believe we are not only weather the macroeconomic environment that we've seen this year, but also continue to be in the strongest position ever to advance Tesla's mission.
We have a lot of money.
As a startup,
That's
Tesla
what she's
proved
saying.
that electric vehicles could be fun with the Roadster. They could even be better than gas-powered vehicles in every single way with the S and X, and could be all of these things as well as affordable with the Model 3 and Model Y.
History lesson time.
Which last quarter became the best-selling vehicle of any kind in Europe and the best-selling non-pickup vehicle in the United States.
Screw you, F-150. Stop buying the trucks. Stop buying the trucks.
As one of the world's largest
They're killing
global
people.
companies, we plan to change the paradigm again by forging the path to achieving a global sustainable energy economy as set out at our Investor Day in our Master Plan 3.
We
As
haven't
Tesla
finished
grows,
3
so do our
or
customers'
2.
positive impact on carbon emissions. When I stood here last year, I proudly announced that in 2021, our customers avoided emitting 8.4 million metric tonnes of greenhouse
Methane.
gas emissions.
Oh, sorry.
The equivalent of over 20 billion miles driven by internal combustion engine vehicles. Today, I can tell you that in 2022, our customers avoided releasing over 13.4 million metric tonnes of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, the equivalent of over 33 billion miles of driving of internal combustion vehicles.
I need better multitasking on my Tesla. I want to activate the fart mode.
60% increase in total emission savings year over year.
Okay, hold on.
Putting more of our products in customers' hands helps grow that number.
That's not the car.
And our goals of making our products greener over time and further decarbonising the electric grid will help multiply that effect. As part of that goal, I am delighted to say that as described in our recent impact report, our global supercharging network was again 100% renewable in 2022.
Thank you. Tell that guy yesterday in my stream that he thought all superchargers were diesel powered.
Maintaining industry margins, industry-leading margins, and generating strong cash flows over the last several years. Going forward, we will continue our focus on capital investment plans to support our future growth.
I can read the chat,
investments in batteries,
and when I press the scroll wheel,
production, including the next generation.
I can read the chat and fart. This is good.
In the building of our lithium refinery that we
have this all figured out now.
Ground on. In the energy storage factories, in our sales and service footprint, and in our charging network.
I just want to look at the chat for a second. Look at the chat. Where's
Before
Elon?
I hand it back to Martin, I would also like to thank Hiro Mizuno.
Get rid of this lady now.
To the Tesla shareholders and the board these past 3 years.
Why is the mic in the center of your face?
Express our enthusiasm
Wake up,
on behalf
investor.
of my fellow directors.
We want
at
Trelon
the
Musk.
Of JB Straubel joining our board.
Oh, JB Straubel's joining! Yay! Straubel.
I don't have to tell you that his passion for Tesla and green tech will make him an important asset in our mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. So again, on behalf of our full board, thank you for your tremendous support and welcome to your 2023 shareholder meeting. And with that, I'll hand it back to Martin.
Martin. Congrats. Elon! Mike?
Thank you, Robin. I will I will now call the meeting to order. Please refer to the meeting agenda that has been provided to you and posted on the virtual meeting site.
Can I turn up the volume of the fart?
The time is now 3:10 p.m. Central Time, and I declare the polls are now open.
I declare
We have already received over the last few weeks voting proxies from stockholders, meaning that almost all the votes that
one
will
of the
be
good
counted
co-founders, that's
were
true.
already submitted before today. However, if you wish to vote your shares or change your prior vote, you may do so through the virtual meeting site. For those who are in person here today, ballots and ballot boxes were available to you at the check-in.
I vote to
Tesla's board of
deliver
directors has
Cybertruck.
appointed Computershare Trust Company to serve as Inspector of Elections. Computershare has taken and signed an oath as Inspector and has certified that starting on April 6, 2023, the proxy materials or a notice of internet availability of proxy materials were mailed or provided to all Tesla stockholders of record
quiet.
March 20th, 2023.
Can you not increase the volume
We have
of the
majority
fart?
of outstanding shares represented at the meeting, so I declare that there's a quorum present at the meeting, and we may proceed with the meeting. The items on the agenda are as follows. Number 1, the election of Class 1 directors Elon Musk, Robin Denholm, and J.B. Straubel to serve for a term of 3 years or until the respective successors are duly elected and qualified.
Can we just
Number
keep
2,
JB?
to approve executive compensation on a non-binding advisory basis. Number 3, to approve the frequency of
They
future
turned on
votes
slow
executive
mode
compensation
and subscriber
on a
only
non-binding
mode.
advisory basis.
There's still a lot of people.
Number 4, to ratify the appointment of PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP as Tesla's independent public registered accounting firm
I turned
for
off
the
the voice
2023
mode.
fiscal year. Number 5, to vote on a stockholder proposal included in our proxy statement, which relates to the reporting of key person risk. Number 6, to vote on a stockholder proposal which the stockholders did not seek to have included in our proxy statement. Tesla's board has recommended that our stockholders vote for each of the director nominees, for the approval by non-binding advisory vote of executive compensation, and the ratification of appointment of PwC as an independent registered public accounting firm for fiscal year 2023.
Where's Martin Vieca?
And every 3 years for non-binding advisory vote for the frequency of future votes on executive compensation. With respect to stockholder proposal included in our proxy statement, which relates to the reporting on the key man risk, Karen Roberts-Dotier, on behalf of Sumtris, is here to present this proposal. Ms. Roberts-Dotier, can you please identify yourself?
Jumps.
I would like to invite you to speak. You will have 3 minutes.
Here we go.
I got it. Hello, thank you for having me here today. Under discussion is a shareholder proposal concerning key person risk at Tesla, requiring Tesla's board to draft a report covering the steps taken to ameliorate the potential impacts of
He's
loss
got
of
the
key
boxed
persons in the
water.
company.
That guy looks like
However,
Nathan
before I begin,
Fillion.
I would first like to say thank you to Mr. Musk. For so many of us, you stepped into fields where we had so desperately wanted to see change, and through bringing in a talented team, willing to put in the long hours, you dragged reluctant industries kicking and screaming into a better future. And
Put in the
for
work,
that,
put in the hours.
Thank you. Building up this juggernaut around us, which, as you largely put it, runs itself these days. Thank you for that.
What?
And yet now here we are
Milk.
today, at a time when Tesla's technological leadership
We
should
have
be on
2
display.
guinea pigs.
The investment community largely sees us as adrift, with management focused on all that matters not Tesla, watching as Tesla's brand favorability dropped by 15 points last year, something that cost us margins. We have such a spectacular product pipeline and a team that knows how to execute at scale with low cost of goods sold. Something that we are not being properly recognized for. It should go without saying, but apparently bears repeating, that if you cannot produce with low COGS, you have no future. When I look around the auto industry these days, I see a lot of companies that have no future. And that's a success on behalf of an incredible team here at Tesla that deserves recognition.
You have
When
bankrupted
people
other
look at this
brands.
company,
Good job.
that's not what they see. They see the company as a synonym for its CEO. And then the discussion turns to everything except for where it should be focused. It's my sincere hope that by introducing this proposal, we can not only accelerate the development of management at Tesla, but also increase its visibility. The fact that this company is so much more than its key persons is something that the public and the investment community should see. A founder often finds their greatest success in ensuring the future of the company and the development of the management talent who can come after them. Think Tim Cook at Apple, Steve Ballmer at Microsoft, and so forth. People who are ready from day one to execute without controversy, without distraction, and build a future for the company. I encourage the board should embrace this opportunity in the most public manner possible to showcase the future being built right here so that the discussion among the public and the investment community revolves around that and not around every public statement on every other topic made by the leadership. I strongly encourage the board, the shareholders to support this proposal and for the board to embrace it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Roberts-Doar.
One person
The
applauded.
board is recommended that our stockholders vote against this proposal for the reasons set forth in our statement of opposition.
Thank
in our
you.
proxy statement.
Don't listen to her, by the way.
Finally, as you saw, and investor advocates for social justice would like to raise a proposal from the floor.
Oh boy.
The proponents did not seek to have their proposal included in the proxy statement. The board recommends that our stockholders who are entitled to vote on this proposal vote against it.
Don't vote.
As a reminder, as is disclosed in a proxy statement, I've been advised by the proxy holders that they intend to vote all shares of stock over which they have discretionary authority against this proposal. Only shareholders who are shareholders of record or have obtained a legal proxy may vote for this proposal after it is presented. Courtney Wicks, representing Investor Advocates for Social Justice, is here to present the proposal. Ms. Wicks, I would like you to speak. You will have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Tesla board members, management,
It's cool that
employees, and shareholders. My name is Courtney Wicks, and I am the Executive Director for Investor Advocates for Social Justice. And I'm here on behalf of As You Sow and the Sisters of the Good Shepherd, who have filed shareholder proposals in the past on child labor and human rights abuses in Tesla's supply chain.
Switch to
I stand
LFP
here today
if you don't want child labor.
to call on shareholders to vote yes on requesting Tesla to conduct a third-party report detailing the company's efforts to eradicate child and forced labor in its supply chain.
They already do
the
that.
human rights risks that permeate throughout Tesla's value chain, when not adequately addressed, harm shareholder value and undermine Tesla's ability to lead the just transition. Growing attention and concern have been placed on child labor in cobalt mining in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, as well as on forced labor in China's Xinjiang region.
LFP don't have cobalt.
70% of the world's cobalt needed for EV batteries are sourced in the DRC. Over 40,000 children work in artisanal and small-scale mining, often without protective equipment and in dangerous spaces that frequently collapse.
Well, if the children had
Many children
equipment,
are
then
seriously injured or killed in the mining process. In Tesla's latest sustainability report, it claims to have audited 80% of the miners and refiners in their cobalt supply chain against responsible production standards. However, there are many industry-backed standards, some of which are weak, and it isn't clear what percentage of audits were conducted by which initiatives.
So why is this one better if the other ones aren't good enough?
Due diligence ensures cobalt sourced from child labor is not intermingled in the industrial cobalt supply chain. Subsequently, an estimated 1.8 million people have been subject to state-imposed genocide, detention and internment camps, and forced labor in the Xinjiang Uyghur region. A recent study concluded that automakers cannot conduct meaningful audits in this region. The recent Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act in the United States Senate inquiry into Tesla's supply chain highlights the regulatory risk Tesla faces. We believe a third-party audit would provide greater transparency into how Tesla plans to eradicate child and forced labor from its supply chain.
Why would the third party be better?
One of Tesla's competitive advantages is its sustainable leadership. Tesla, its board
What?
of directors and management team have a moral obligation to pursue ethical sourcing practices that do not rely on the lives of children or enslaved people. Tesla can continue to make a true leadership difference that forges a sustainable economic future that is anchored by innovation, empathy, human development, and shareholder value. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wicks. We will now accept votes for, against, or to abstain for this proposal, but again,
you.
only for record
Don't do it,
holders or
guys.
legal proxy holders.
I asked you not to vote, so don't.
Please note, this is the final opportunity to submit proxies in order for them to be counted.
Okay. What kind of iPad does he have up there?
I declare the polls are now closed.
I declare.
Based on proxies we have previously received, I'd like to announce on preliminary basis that our stockholders have approved the recommendations of the Tesla board on all agenda items, except that shareholders have recommended 1 year for non-binding advisory vote on the frequency of future votes on executive compensation. This means that I would like to officially announce our new addition to the Tesla board, J.B. Straubel.
Yay! Good job, JB. Of course he's back. He was one of the few good co-founders. Probably the only good co-founder at this point.
After the final tabulation is completed, we will announce specific vote tallies in the filing form 8K.
It's a good thing his
within
iPad
4
has
business
LiDAR.
days of this meeting.
His iPad has more LiDAR
That
than the
concludes
cars.
the official business of today's shareholder meeting, which is now adjourned.
Official business. Yeah, Greg Abbott screwed up the
During the course
EV
of the following
registration,
session, we may discuss our business outlook and make forward-looking statements. Such statements are predictions based on current expectations. Actual events could differ materially due to a number of risks and uncertainties, including those disclosed in our most recent Form 10-K and 10-Q filings with the SEC. Such
Sounds
forward-looking
like they're
statements
nervous.
represent our views as of today, should not be relied on thereafter, and we disclaim from any obligation to update them after today.
I'm sorry, Brandon.
And with that,
Texas.
please welcome Elon Musk.
Oh boy. Texas is becoming more and more like California every day. I keep trying to tell people California is not geographically locked. California is a vibe and it follows you. Where's the hat and the glasses? Look, this guy's taking a selfie with him.
I just want to say I love you guys. So,
What are we looking at here?
well, we've got a lot of great news to talk about today. The Tesla team has done an incredible job
Is
of
the
executing
news
over the past
new?
year, and we have many exciting years ahead of us. So, yeah.
Like when the Roadster's ready.
So with the Tesla Master Plan Part 3, which admittedly was quite technical, we wanted to go into a lot of technical depth.
For 5 hours.
So, it was clear that that what we were saying was not just, were not merely assertions, but that they were backed up with physics and with real data, that it's realistic.
Yeah, property tax sucks in
And,
Texas.
and with the Master Plan Part 3, we want to basically, the goal is to give people hope, realistic hope, and maybe hope's even the wrong word, but simply to say that there is a path to a fully sustainable global economy, that we are on that path, that we are accelerating that path, and that so long as we don't get complacent about it,
We're
it will
recapping
happen.
Investor Day again, I'm afraid.
So
That's like 5 times what I
kinda
paid
rush
in
through
property tax.
A recap of the Master Plan Part 3.
No.
But some of the salient points are that it will actually take less energy to go
See the emoji.
to go sustainable, not more energy. It's actually more innovative. And some of these things may sound very obvious, but it's more energy efficient to go sustainable, not less.
Where is the crypto scam?
there's less mining that is required for a sustainable energy economy.
Oh,
not
really?
more.
I didn't know that.
Also very important.
Elon for president.
I heard a question raised about
Let's
cobalt
watch this
mining.
after hours.
And
Oh, it's up.
you know what? We will do a third-party audit.
Oh,
So,
they're going to do it.
so in fact,
Wow.
we'll put a webcam on the mine.
That'd be
If
compelling.
anybody sees any children, please let us know.
That's a great idea. Live stream the mining. Thank you, Elon.
So,
That was the first good idea I've heard in years.
I mean, I don't want to go off on a tangent too much on that front, but it's very important to appreciate that most of our battery packs are iron-based.
Most?
A majority of our battery packs are iron-based, not cobalt.
What?
And then our other battery packs are nickel-based, and not cobalt. The nickel batteries use a little bit of cobalt as a binder, but only a tiny amount. In contrast, your phones all use 100% cobalt.
Oh,
I recommend complaining to the phone manufacturers.
yeah. LFP. So all the Giga Texas Model Ys don't
But even for the
have
small amount of
LFP.
cobalt that we do use, we will make sure 6 ways to Sunday that no child labor is being exploited. Obviously, we're a company that cares a lot about doing the right thing, and we don't want to delude ourselves or delude anyone else. So, yeah, count.
All the phones you're reading about
So,
bad Tesla news
again,
are
so
using
recapping
cobalt.
Master Plan Part 3,
Recap.
Really, the point is to say that it is very, very doable. It is happening. We need a threefold increase in solar and wind.
Wow.
We need to
Wow.
release some of these 29-fold increase in vehicle stationary and thermal battery production. Actually, in a nutshell, the way to think about sustainability is the faster we can make battery packs, the faster we can move to a sustainable energy economy. That's the fundamental limiting factor. So, let's grab some water here.
There must be a lot of Giga Shanghai LFP Model Ys and 3s that are being sold if he's saying most of Tesla's inventory is LFP. I want to know the percentage breakdown of LFP.
Yeah, I can't emphasize that point enough. The rate of lithium-ion battery production fundamentally decides the rate at which the world transitions to sustainability, because the batteries are needed for all forms of transport and for stationary storage, given the intermittent nature of solar and wind power. So,
Another recap. Oh God, they're still doing it. Oh my God.
so and we do invite people to critique our analysis, because any given analysis is going to be to some degree wrong. So that's why we put it out there, looking for critical feedback to say, well, perhaps we got some things wrong, perhaps some things need to be adjusted.
Cyber water.
But generally, the feedback we've gotten is that actually our analysis is quite accurate, and we've not seen any rebuttals thus far that would cause us to change our assumptions. So it means roughly 240 terawatt hours of battery pack, or
bullish on
240,000
water.
gigawatt hours of battery need to be produced.
Cyber water.
But it'll only
water
take
bullish.
0.2% of land area for solar and wind.
Hydration.
So it's not like we need to carpet the earth with solar and wind. It's just literally a fraction of a percent.
0.2%
Roughly a $10
of all
trillion
Aptera orders are
manufacturing investment,
using my
which
referral
relative
code.
to the global economy is actually a small number. Yeah, roughly 10% of the world economy. I think 10% of the world economy is a small price to pay for a sustainable energy future.
Yeah, I'd be impressed if it was over 50%. I wonder if he's exaggerating. He might not be. I don't know.
It's also true that even when factoring in the cost or the emissions required to produce an electric vehicle, which for now, are a little higher than gasoline vehicles. When you look at the emissions over time, electric vehicles absolutely win by a long shot. And as we're seeing, the cost and the emissions required to produce an electric vehicle are dropping rapidly over time.
I have never heard
and
this before.
We're going to get to the point where an electric vehicle is cheaper than a gasoline vehicle. So,
but it is not this day.
So in 2022, we avoided releasing about 13 million tons of CO2, reduced manufacturing GHG per vehicle by 30%, and reduced water usage by 15%, despite massive increases in output. So we also made our factories safer, which is really important. So we track the injuries per person.
What happened in Q3?
We believe at this point we are best in industry, or have the lowest injuries per person. So.
There might be a
We're
long-range
now
Model
actually
3
quite a big company from a headcount
with
standpoint.
LFP.
This is our direct employment number. So this does not count contractors. And for every manufacturing job, depending on how you count it, there are at least 5, sometimes up to 10 jobs created, because you got to look at the total supply chain, as well as all of the support functions.
This data's wrong.
When you create a factory like this, you actually create jobs for teachers, lawyers, carpenters, electricians, and restaurants, and everything that's required to support
carpenters,
a person at a factory. And this is why countries and states are so interested in having manufacturing facilities in their location.
Like France.
So, anyways, it's a lot of people gainfully employed doing very useful things.
I know some people on that list.
We received 3.6 million job applications last year. So
there's LFP Model Ys in China that are selling internationally. So you might be referring to those. I bet they're selling a lot of those.
And once again, the top 2 most desired companies for engineers on Earth were SpaceX and Tesla.
And Twitter. Yeah, rear-wheel drive is the official
at the end of the day, the competitiveness of any given company is a function of where are the most talented people interested in working.
What?
That is the team that's going to win. In fact, if I'd say this is generally the case. If you look at any given company and say, where
is this
are
the right
most
slide?
Smartest, most driven people
Slow-mo is on
work,
every 10 seconds.
that company is going to win. So whether it's Tesla or any other company. We're also excited to announce our next-gen drive unit, which is a big reduction in silicon carbide. It's half the factory space.
Oh, looks cool.
Notably, there are 0 rare earth elements required.
But it was announced at Investor Day. I guess pretend you didn't see that.
And we're also changing to a 48 volt low voltage architecture in the car. So
the car?
Yeah, this is a big deal actually. So the cars have been operating with 12 volt batteries for basically about a century. So for the first time in, I think, over 100 years, we're actually going to change from 12 volt voltage of, outside of the drivetrain to a 48 volt architecture. And to first approximation, that means we need only about a quarter as much copper for in the car as would be needed for a 12 volt battery. So that's a big deal, because people are often worried about, is there enough copper? Yes, there is. So,
yes. Is that carbon fiber?
And FSD beta is growing exponentially.
Here we go.
So
get ready for robotaxi claim.
That chart is going to look like a wall, basically. And just a question for those in the room: how many people have tried out FSD Beta? Okay, great. So what do you think of the latest build? Right?
Scattered applause.
So it's really getting to the point where it's at least for me when I drive around, it's several days between interventions, and I think
Someone
we're
drives
getting to the
you,
point
Elon.
where
Come on.
there's really just one last piece of the system that needs to be a neural net, which is the planning and control function. And so we expect to have that last piece become neural net, so it'll be
Later.
end-to-end from
Later this year.
video in to control out
Later
as
this
a neural
year.
net.
I swear. He's going to say it.
And yeah, so the thing to appreciate is it's not that full self-driving will be as good as a person. It will be much, much better.
Then
Like
why
a
does
lot,
a
like
person have to look at it when
Over
it's
time,
driving?
10 times more, 10 times safer than a person. It's not even going to be a contest, frankly. So this is a really big deal. And I think some people realize it. I think you guys probably realize it. But being able to do a software update and have several million cars suddenly go from manual driving to autonomous, I think will be the single biggest asset value increase in history.
If that ever comes.
So,
Also, it depends on the regulatory permits of each region, so it's not just one flip of a switch.
the normal usage of a passenger car is roughly 10 to 12 hours per week. Call it maybe an hour and a half per day.
Here we go.
And when you drive around, you see lots of cars just parked in parking lots because out of the 168 hours in a week,
Whoa. Why? My internet's
they're
fine.
using less than 10%.
I can see
maybe
my
7%
connection.
of the hours of the week.
That was on their
a
end.
car is in use.
They're
But once it is
Starlinking.
autonomous, it can be used probably, I don't know, 50 hours a week, maybe more. So it is effectively a 5-fold increase in the value of a car overnight.
Can I play back speed catch up?
I'm actually surprised that so few people realize this, or maybe they just don't believe it's real.
Time travel.
So this is really an insanely big deal. We're also the largest EV maker in the world. So
Come on, BYD. All right, we're caught up.
yeah,
Toyota's way down there.
I think that will continue.
Good job, Hyundai.
And
Why is it still buffering?
while at the same time being the highest margin of any car maker in the world.
Take that, Mercedes. In 2022.
Now, making electric vehicles profitably is hard, as illustrated by the difficulty of our competitors.
Rivian
a
and
number
Lucid.
of our competitors are making EVs at a significant loss. But we are not. We are actually making EVs profitably, and almost no one else is. This is hard. So, and I'd say for this, it's a massive credit to the Tesla team for. I can't tell you how hard manufacturing is. Like, you've probably heard me say that
It's really
prototypes are easy, manufacturing is hard, and then manufacturing at scale with positive cash flow is excruciating. It's mega pain.
Giga pain.
The Tesla team has done it. So.
This is so different from Investor Day. I can't.
And as you can
tell
see, our free cash flow per year has been increasing steadily. So, we're making good progress. I mean, it should be said that, and I've made some of these comments, that that interest rates have a very big effect on the affordability of cars. So
They're still up.
the vast majority of people buy cars based on the monthly payment. So it's like how much is the monthly payment, and it's not a question of value for money. It's just, do they actually have enough money? Can they afford it?
No.
So for the
I heard someone
vast majority
honking.
of people, it's just, can they afford to pay the payment? as the interest rates increase and credit tightens, like it's safe to say that these various banks that have died are probably somewhat distracted from handing out auto loans. It's like if they're on their way to the cemetery, increasing their auto loan portfolio is not the first thing on their mind.
That's why you should get into it.
So this is going to be a challenging 12 months.
Tesla should offer auto loans.
About it. Like Tesla is not immune to the global economic environment. I expect things to be just at a macroeconomic level difficult for at least the next 12 months.
Oof.
Like
stock drop.
Tesla will get through it and we'll do well, and I think we'll see a lot of companies actually go bankrupt. So I want to make sure that this is not just the good news parade.
Great.
It's important to understand that no company is immune to the macroeconomic environment.
Everyone will die except me.
It won't be darkness forever. I expect probably a year of difficulty globally for everyone. And then my best guess is that the global economy turns around in roughly 12 months.
Elon's good at guessing.
And then Tesla will be in an extremely good position.
Very
so
good.
Anyone who is a long-term investor, I think, will do extremely well.
Yeah, if robotaxi's coming, why sell cars? What's the big deal?
And here I want to give a big shout out to the Tesla internal software team.
Oh yeah, no kidding. They need more of those guys.
It's actually a really big deal that Tesla has such a powerful internal software team. I mean, that software team is responsible for handling the entire customer experience from buying the car, delivering the car, operating the factories, service and support. We internally wrote all of the insurance.
What year did your dad's
software.
car come out? Haystix.
It's the supply chain and logistics stuff, the data centers and infrastructure.
Now it's down.
Insight. This is all internally written Tesla software. I think there are almost no companies in the world can do this because they do not have a very talented internal software team. So they're generally reliant on third-party enterprise resource planning software. But Tesla is not. This is a hidden strength of the company that often doesn't get a lot of attention, but is incredibly powerful. So once again, I'd like to thank them for their work.
Woo! Thanks for letting me read my chat on my Tesla display. 2014. Okay,
and,
so wait till
as predicted,
Model 2
we
is
are highly confident that Model Y will be
like
the number
9
one
years
best-selling
old?
car on Earth this year.
9-year-old car. Model 3 is not 9 years old yet. Give it time. Used market brings depreciation.
And in fact, in Europe, the best-selling car of any kind, whatsoever, it's already was that in Q1, I should say. It's not like will be, it was that in Q1. And China, the best-selling SUV.
Oh, Quicksilver.
And the United States, the best-selling non-pickup vehicle in the United States in Q1. So,
Quicksilver's so beautiful.
It's going well.
I need to move to Germany and get myself that car.
I don't know if this is like the optimal picture, but Tesla cars are actually the safest cars in the world. We put immense effort into vehicle safety, and we keep updating the safety. So we keep improving the automatic emergency braking system just with a software update. And we keep improving the airbag deployment.
Cybertruck would go through the pickup truck.
So we close the feedback loop on, like when we see an accident, we analyze the accident, we say, what can we do from a software standpoint? Because there's actually quite a lot you can do to, first of all, avoid the accident, because the best accident is no accident. And then if the accident occurs, how do we deploy the airbags and the sort of the seatbelt pretensioners to minimize the probability of injury? So even for cars that people have owned for many years, we are behind the scenes continuously improving the safety of your car. And
How to ram your
there are even
Ram.
some things that I think a lot of people aren't aware of, that we actually have automatic cabin overheat protection. So
I knew that.
never in the history of the company has a child or a pet died in a Tesla.
Is that true?
Like,
Never? What if they crash?
it's one of those like little known features, but because we have a large battery and we're monitoring things all the time, we can make sure that the cabin temperature never gets to lethal levels, and I think that's a big deal. So, oh yeah. So and then while lots of cars will say they've got like 5 stars or whatever, there's nuance to that. When we did the European NCAP sort of active safety
What about the
tests,
3?
we got the highest scores that they've ever seen. So yeah.
Cabin underheat protection. There you go.
So we
Cat.
got a 98% score on the active safety system, which obviously isn't good enough, and we will. But we have got a game plan for getting rid of the last 2%.
By removing the driver. Don't drive anywhere. Maximum
And then it's worth
safety.
noting things like the total cost of ownership of a Model 3 is now comparable to that of a Toyota Corolla. So
49 cents a mile. That's pretty good. Wait, why is it hard? Oh, I see.
superchargers, we were making good progress. So our supercharger uptime is now 99.95%. So yeah. And we have superchargers practically everywhere at this point.
The moon.
Going to Megapack, because this is stationary storage is an important part of solving the sustainable energy problem. And the Tesla Megapack is now more competitive than a natural gas peaker plant. Ooh. So we have very strong demand for the Tesla Megapack.
That's why the grid is more stable
and,
too.
We're going to make a lot of them. So yeah.
Awesome.
And a while back, I predicted that the Tesla stationary battery pack business would actually grow faster than the automotive side of things, and that's exactly what has happened. You can see it's an exponential curve, growing at a rate that is even faster than our vehicle sales.
I hope it's LFP.
Yeah, sorry. We're expanding Gigafactory Nevada for the Tesla semi-production line and for the 4680 in-house cell production.
Is it happening?
And
we're just reading.
Some Megafactory stuff.
Here's some stuff, everybody. These are things.
So, this is...
they exist.
We're aiming for 40 gigawatt hours a year, both in California and in China, but I think long term, this will be much greater than this. I mean, I would say I wouldn't be surprised if long term the stationary battery pack activity went well in excess of 500 gigawatt hours per year. So the demand is like quasi infinite.
I hope this will be shorter than Investor Day. That's my hope. This is pretty much all recap.
As we look ahead to tackle what we see as the choke points in the supply chain, one of them is lithium refining. I mean, there've been a few times on Tesla earnings calls where I've said, "Can someone please just do lithium refining?" Because there's just a shortage of it, but we really see very little activity outside of China for lithium refining. So it's not that we wish to take on extra problems, but since nobody else was doing it, we felt we had to do this.
Oh.
And so we've just broken ground on a lithium refinery in Corpus Christi, which will be do more lithium refining than I think probably everything outside of China. So, yeah.
We watched that too. At least they had a Cybertruck there. That was more exciting with the rack and
we've
everything.
signed a deal for our next Gigafactory in Mexico, Giga Mexico. And I think that's going to be a fantastic factory. So, we're laying the groundwork for ultimately getting to 20 million vehicles a year.
I've heard that before. Later this year. The applause. They already said this, but I'm still excited. Wow!
So Cybertruck is a hard car to make.
Wow.
It's because it's such a radically new design.
That's not good.
It actually, you can't just use conventional methods of manufacturing. We had to invent a whole new set of manufacturing techniques.
Talk about it!
To build an exoskeleton-based car instead of an endoskeleton-based car. So it's extremely non-trivial to build the Cybertruck. But we're making good progress on that. We have the so yes, it's, that's the thing when I in the factory I tour the Cybertruck line to see how we're doing there, and sorry for the delay, but we're finally going to start delivering Cybertrucks later this year, and I think the product, if anything, is better than expectations.
Better than expectations. People expect it to fly, Elon. Wait, what is that? What are we looking at?
I mean, Cybertruck is the car I will be driving on a day-to-day basis.
You will be driven around like usual. Is this Highland?
So, and people always want to know what our next product is.
We're not going to tell you. Show us.
But this is not the time to.
That's so rude.
We obviously need to have a proper dedicated product launch.
What is this?
I just want to emphasize that we are actually building a new product. We are actually designing a new product. We're not sitting on our hands here. There are two new products that I think you will be very excited about.
What, the Roadster?
And both the design of the products and the manufacturing techniques are head and shoulders above anything else that is present in industry.
It's so rude. It's so mean what they're doing. Now isn't the time. Then don't show us this crap. Come on.
If I were to guess, I would say of these two new products, just these two new products alone, I would say we will probably make, obviously this is just Elon's guess, so don't sue me.
I literally caught them in 4K. Yeah, you're streaming.
But Elon's guess is that that will probably make in excess of 5 million units a year of these two models combined. So
5 million. Oh no! This is the out of spec Dave music. Whoa! Cybertrucks, get the bots out of there. Yeah, enter the Osborne effect. What am I looking at here? Wow, it can walk.
These are all real, by the way.
Can it ride the bike? Get ready for Elon time. From human demonstrations. Oh my god, guys, it picked up a potato. It's coming for our jobs. Oh my god, it put an object in a drawer. Whoa. 2 Cybertrucks. 3 Cybertrucks together. That's cool. Ugh. I hate the bot because it's bull chow. Why don't you make a robotaxi first, and then we'll talk about the robot?
I think the thing perhaps most notable is if you look at the difference between the last time we showed Optimus, and this is a video that was taken basically yesterday, and the Optimus team was up all night making this video. The Optimus team has done an incredible job. So just, yeah.
I was more interested in the 3 Cybertrucks in the background.
And it's the motors, the controllers, the electronics, and everything you see in the Optimus robot is a Tesla-designed system. So this is
even the belt buckle.
We actually tried to find drive actuators and whatnot that were off the shelf. We found that there weren't any. In order to make an effective humanoid robot, you actually have to design
how many Cybertrucks
the motors
are there?
and gearboxes and the electronics from scratch, because it's a very different application from
Stock
anything
is
else
back
that
up.
exists. So we took our world-class motor and power electronics team and said, okay, we need to design several actuators that don't exist in the world, and they did. So.
I'm so
Optimus
mad that they
is
teased
working
their
quite well.
next
And then
product.
for full self-driving, as full self-driving gets closer and closer to generalized real-world AI, that same software is transferable to a humanoid robot.
Sure.
Just like humans can obviously walk around with their arms and legs, but we can drive a car, fly a plane, steer a boat, ride a horse.
The
if
robot
you
will
have a
ride a
generalized
horse?
understanding, if you have generalized real-world AI, which is what we are developing for full self-driving, it can be transferred to basically anything.
Wow.
So Optimus will use the same FSE computer as the car.
Because that went so well.
And the Optimus stuff is I think extremely underrated. Because people just cannot comprehend the consequences. Now, obviously, we need to make sure that we don't have a Terminator scenario. That's very important. It's all fun and games.
I'd be impressed
until
if we had
Terminator
that.
shows up.
That would mean it's actually good.
But if you say, like, if you have had a generalized humanoid robot, what would be the effective ratio of humanoid robots to humans? Because I think basically everyone would want one. And maybe people would want more than one.
What?
Which means the actual demand for something like Optimus, if it really works, which it will, is, I don't know, I mean, 10 billion units? It's some crazy number.
What is he talking
It might be 20 billion units. If the ratio is, say, 2 to 1 on people,
Each person,
humanoid robots versus people,
man, woman, and
might actually
child
be-
needs 2 robots?
It's some very big number, is what I'm saying, and a number vastly in excess of the number of cars.
I doubt it'll be ready in 10 years.
So my prediction is that Tesla's long-term value will be a majority of the long-term value will be Optimus,
This is the bull show.
and that prediction I'm very confident of.
The sky is the limit.
So anyway.
We will be worth $10 quadrillion, technically, if you think about it.
Let's see. So I think with that, we can do questions, perhaps?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Hey, that's my
Yeah,
laptop.
we also want to make sure, please, retail investors, please vote.
Look at that
normally
notch.
Retail investors, for
How
most
did they get
companies
the
don't
notch
vote,
to
but
show
we really care about your vote of small investors, not just large investors. So please do register to vote. Your vote is very important. And yeah, I think that's.
Yes, buying
Yeah,
groceries
that's it. So,
takes all day.
yeah.
The questions are always horrible.
So with that, we can go to ad hoc questions from the audience.
When are you gonna unveil the next? Don't ask about that. We can't talk about that.
Okay, definitely the person in the Optimus outfit with the red cowboy hat.
What? I can't hear him.
Great outfit. Sure. And we'll try to get through as many questions as possible. And you
please
hit me
don't.
with your toughest questions. Fine.
Please wrap this up. Please.
Okay, it is. Hey, Dad, it's your son Optimus.
Oh.
I want to just. Do you see it more likely that you guys will have an RV first or a cyber camper?
What? What?
Well, we
He said,
we don't
"Hey,
have
Dad."
any plans to build an RV quite yet, although I can certainly see how Cybertruck could be converted into an RV. And we are adding a lot of sort of attach points to Cybertruck, so others can build things. Somebody could have a startup or other companies can build things that are attachments that enhance Cybertruck and turn it into a camper, essentially. Because I think it'd be really cool to have all these like third-party things available for Cybertruck.
Thank you.
Just say Cyberlander. We all know what you're talking about.
I mean, you could also probably just, if you're that close, you could just say it or something, I don't know.
Actually, we'd like you guys to queue up behind us. So
Okay.
there's 3
All
mics.
right. Yeah, so
Go
yeah,
ahead and
queue
get
up.
in line. Thank you.
They were like, "No, Elon, don't say that."
Try to make the question short so we can get through a lot of questions.
They're not making an RV. That's basically what he said.
Maybe.
RV business isn't very big.
Oh, you mean just like a Tesla team doing a podcast about Optimus? Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I wonder
It's too much work.
Maybe we could have a sort of like an addendum after the earnings call, which is like a 30 minutes podcast on Optimus or something, like for those who are interested. Okay, I think we'll do that. So.
Oh no. More Optimus talk.
Hey, Elon, thanks for doing this today. It's an awesome event. Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for coming. Hope you guys are having a good time.
Yeah, having a great time.
I see meet Kevin.
I'm pretty confident we have the funnest shareholders meeting by a long shot.
Undoubtedly, yeah. It's amazing.
So,
So I'm really excited about a lot of things with Tesla. It's hard to pick a good question that is going to cover everything. But with
Why
the
are you
energy
here?
side of the business, I think it's hugely underrated. I mean, we got tons of problems California with rolling blackouts.
Sure.
How do you think you can incentivize people, more for solar, battery backup, and we've got the referral program that's been beefed up as well. So, what are your thoughts there? How we can get people on board?
yeah, actually, one of the challenges in California and a few other places is that in order to have the Powerwall be like an uninterruptible power supply for the house, we have to actually have a switch that disconnects you from the utility. Otherwise, you just, send energy into the grid, and it doesn't do anything. That's actually been quite difficult with utilities. But I'd like to thank PG&E for recently helping us get approval for installing the backup switch for Powerwall in California, so that people can have uninterrupted power in California. And we're working on that in every jurisdiction. So.
30 billion
So I'm confident
people.
that's going to be a great long-term situation. And then, as I mentioned,
Bots.
Megapack is growing very, very rapidly.
Switch to LFP.
And so things are. Things are really growing like ridiculously fast on the energy storage front. So yeah, I feel good about that situation. All right, next question.
Referral points.
Okay.
Hey, Elon, a lot of people have just kind of been wondering, how are you doing? So just wondering, what's up? How you doing? How you feeling? We saw you were partying in Cabo recently, so just
What,
wondering
me? Must have been someone else.
so how are you doing? Just human to human, how you doing?
Do not thank PG&E
Well, I have to say, it's
publicly.
a bit of a
That's
roller
embarrassing.
coaster situation. like it's actually pretty rare for me to be at a party. So that's like the first party I've been at in a while. And actually wasn't even going to go to it. Then my brother talked me into it.
This is not
thanks,
a
Gil.
real question. How are you doing?
Yeah, I have to say, like sometimes the work pain level is quite excruciating, and then on top of that, I get dumped on in the press. So it's like it's not exactly super fun. But
there's a lot of
there was
tweets
a short-term distraction because I had to do like some major open heart surgery on Twitter to ensure the company's survival. But that, I think Twitter is now in a stable place, and obviously very excited to have Linda Yaccarino join. And so I think Linda's going to do a great job running Twitter. And I'll provide, obviously, guidance on technology development. But as you can see, I think Twitter at this point has released more new features in the last 6 months than it has in the last 6 years. So, obviously this is not a Twitter meeting, but
I was going to say,
but
just the Twitter shareholder meeting.
The larger point is that I feel at this point I don't need to devote incremental time.
Elon, what's your favorite movie?
Going forward is relatively small compared to the last 6 months. So yeah.
This is why I hate the Q&A section. It's just
apart from like there's like some macroeconomic things that we can't do anything about. Overall, I feel very good about the health of the companies, and I'm increasingly optimistic about the future. Thanks for asking. It's kind of you to ask.
Can JB answer questions?
Have you guys considered stretching out the financing terms on your auto business? You talked about earlier, consumers don't necessarily look at the sticker price they're paying. All they're concerned about is monthly payment.
Right.
And one of the fundamental advantages of an EV is that it's substantially more durable. And so would you guys ever consider stretching terms out to 10 years, especially in this rate environment, given the shape of the yield curve? Extending the terms out that farther, you'd actually be capturing a lower cost of funds.
Yeah, I mean, the important thing to appreciate is that, like, that the vast majority of the financing is from banks. So it's kind of whatever the banks are prepared to do.
You guys
this year, I guess we'll do on the order of $100 billion of sales. And we don't have $100 billion in cash to finance that. So the vast majority of it has got to come from, from banks. So it's really the bank's choice of what they're willing to do.
10-year auto loan.
It has been tricky with banks recently because, as I mentioned earlier, if you're a bank and you're not sure whether you're going to be alive or not, it's a pretty big distraction, and increasing your auto loan portfolio is very much a secondary priority. So it's just important to appreciate it's not up to Tesla, it's up to the banks.
Get a mortgage on our car.
And there's not some easy solution where you can say have a so-called a captive financing arm, et cetera, because you have to securitize those loans. And the market for securitizing them is weak. There is no, I wish there was an easy path, but there isn't. So, I think it's just important to remember that the economy moves in cycles. And we've had a very long period of upcycle. The next 12 months will be, I think, difficult for everyone. And I think, when Berkshire Hathaway had their annual meeting, Warren and Charlie actually said, like, hey, this year, the Berkshire companies are going to make less money. They're very well-run organizations, and I think that's just generally true for the economy. So, it's also important to remember that there are good times and there are dark times, but then the good times follow the dark times. So, my advice would be, don't look at the markets for the next 12 months.
Ooh, don't look at your
If there's a dip, buy the dip. And I think you will not be sorry because there's just generally a sort of there's an economic cycle to things, but things come back up. So my guess is tough times for a year. Like I said, just my guess. But then Tesla will emerge stronger than ever, and the long term, if you say like net present value of future cash flows, will be incredible, in my opinion. All right.
Incredible. Slayer. Ultra profit.
Hey, Elon, meet Kevin here.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, thanks. So Tesla is the largest position in my ETF, ticker PP, and that's for pricing power.
Right.
And I'm curious, I really think that some of the features that you highlighted here, like the over-the-air airbag deployments of improving the features, the safety features, are great things that we could be advertising. I know you've heard this many times before. I know you have.
No. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
$525 off every car this year is half a Netflix's advertising budget. $1,000 is the entire Netflix advertising budget, and I see their ads everywhere. Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this. I just talked to Gordo, the Tesla bear, and he's still talking about 2016 New York Times pieces. These people are in the past, man.
That's like 7 years ago at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's actually, I talked to a lot of people, and they still think that like Teslas are like super expensive. And like, no, actually, the starting price for a Tesla is below the average auto price in the U.S. It's like, and that's a good thing.
Do it, Elon.
I mean, I think it's good that it's that way. You know, like our goal was always to make cars that are affordable to the general public. So
stop lowering prices, Elon.
So I hear you. I mean, I think, and it's indeed ironic that Twitter is like highly dependent on advertising. So. Here I am. It's like
convincing someone to buy a car is not the same as convincing them to buy Netflix. Kevin,
have a company that's highly dependent on advertising. So I guess I should say advertising is awesome and everyone should do it.
But not you.
But I think I hear your sort of larger point, which is that there are amazing features and functionality about Teslas that people just don't know about.
And they won't know, even if you pay for ads.
So, yeah.
They don't care. They won't believe you. They don't believe you now. Why would they believe you with an ad?
Although there's obviously a lot of people that follow, like, say, the Tesla account and the my account, whatever, on Twitter, to some degree, it is preaching to the choir. And the choir is already convinced.
That's what this whole stream is.
So I think what you're saying does have some merit, and you know what? I believe in taking suggestions. So we'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Oh no! Oh my God!
Okay.
Please no.
Okay. All right. I wasn't expecting that level of enthusiasm. But okay, it sounds like our shareholders, if I read between the lines, subtle as it is,
I'd be booing if I was there.
Okay, very well. All right.
Please don't. Oh God.
Hi, Elon. Hi, Tesla. Thank you for everything. So my question is regarding, you recently added Steam to the car, and that's great. We can play video games. Is Tesla currently
on like 5% of the cars? It's buffering, by the way. It's not on my end.
developing the ability for other parties to develop apps for the car? For example, if we can buy actually customizable themes for the operating system of the car, I think you can make some revenue there, like that space themes for the car or Lord of the Rings or stuff like that. Do you have any interest in that right now?
Well, I mean, important. So I think the notion of having entertainment apps and whatnot becomes increasingly important as the cars achieve self-driving, because otherwise
there is harm in trying. It makes the car cost more.
Or watch movies or whatever when the car is stationary.
That's the harm.
If it's charging or whatever, that then you can use it. But when it's at the point at which it's full self-driving, I think it's very much about entertainment and productivity. So I think that is something that might make sense in the future. But overwhelmingly, the focus right now for Tesla software, apart from improving safety, is achieving full self-driving, and then getting full self-driving to be much safer than human driving. And then once
Well,
once we achieve full
8 years.
self-driving, I think that there could be a lot of opportunity for apps and whatnot. So, but you know, even in the car as it is today, for a Model S and X, we've made a sort of a full Steam integration. So you can actually just literally log on with a Model S or X with your Steam account and play any game that is on Steam, which
But
is a lot of
that's
games.
such a small Model S and X.
It's pretty
are not
wild.
that many
I think a lot of people don't know that. You can play with a keyboard and mouse. You can play with a joystick or controller. You can also play Netflix, YouTube, or anything else. I mean, for my little
Not
son
Twitter.
X, he loves watching, actually loves watching rocket videos in the rear screen of the Model S and X. So
He has both.
yeah, so it is something that we will do
What?
long term. But one of the things, we already have a lot of stuff there, and we'll do more as self-driving becomes a reality. So.
I'm so mad at Kevin right now, to be honest.
Hey, Elon, I'm John, or Dr. Know-It-All on YouTube, and I
Okay.
don't know it all. But anyway, my question is, as you guys move completely or finish the transition in full self-driving from version 1.0 of the software to 2.0, what do you perceive of as the potential stumbling blocks after that? Because it seems like that's the major, kind of step change that needed to happen, and so you're almost done with that, and what happens after that? And
Look at
also,
those stairs.
please let me interview about full self-driving. I'll spend 2 hours talking to you about just that. So, thank you.
Well, when you can really think about full self-driving as a sort of a march of nines of reliability.
We're not even there
we,
yet.
We need to get to the point where the probability of injury is lower than that of the average human driver, and then ultimately probability of injury is much lower. So even at the point at which the car is capable of driving itself, there's still actually a lot of work to do. Because every year there's 1 million people that die in auto accidents, and I think probably everyone in this audience has friends and family that have died or been seriously injured in auto accidents. And for there's like 1 million people that die. There's 10 million people roughly that are seriously permanently injured. And so it matters that if we can get that down by an order of magnitude, there's like 900,000 lives saved per year, maybe 9 million.
I wonder how
injuries
Gordon Johnson
per year.
feels. Gordon Johnson being name dropped during the shareholder meeting.
And so that really, I think, morally has to be our primary goal.
He's probably happy about that.
And I guess I'm open to an interview on FSD.
What's the
2 hours
point?
is a long time, but
Why talk for so long?
Okay. All right, I'll do an interview. It's got to be on Twitter, but sure. All right.
Oh, I don't use Twitter. Can you do Zoom instead?
Hi, Elon. I'm Josh Phillips, long-term retail investor. My question's about battery-grade lithium supply in the next 10 years. Lithium experts all agree that mines are just not coming online fast enough to meet battery supply. And actually, Drew Baglino pointed this out recently. Some mines take 10 years plus to be permitted. And even GM has actually announced huge lithium deals that will secure away supply from the rest of the industry. So what's Tesla's plans to get more supply of lithium at the mine level outside of refining, but also at a deeper level than a traditional offtake? Because as we know, he who controls the spice controls the universe.
Sure.
He's quoting Dunk.
I actually think that the industry analysis is incorrect, and the constraint is fundamentally that of processing.
Skill issue.
So, now our refinery in Corpus Christi that we're building is primarily oriented towards refining spodumene, of which there is a truly vast amount in the world. I think about 3/4 of our lithium comes from Australia. And frankly, you could increase the rate at which the mines are operating.
Won't get the Model S and X.
And the limiting factor is not how fast can you mine, but how fast can you process.
I
so
already knew the answer to that one.
mines are only
And I'm an idiot.
produce ore at the rate at which refineries can handle the ore, or it's pointless. So I think my opinion, and obviously I could be wrong about this, but is that it's really not about the lithium ore. Lithium is extremely common. Lithium is everywhere. In every country's got lithium. It's not like oil. So lithium is one of the most common elements on Earth.
We don't have oil here.
But taking the lithium ore and refining it to battery grade is extremely difficult because the purity levels required for a battery are extremely high. If you have even a small impurity, then you will degrade the life of the cell dramatically. So you need ultra pure battery grade lithium, and that's why our focus is on refining as opposed to mining. Thank you.
He basically told that guy skill issue and
Hi,
move
Elon.
on.
Thanks. It's a great time here. You spoke about safety in your presentation of the vehicles, and I just want to say I'm thankful to you for building such a safe vehicle because I'm here today with my son.
Not a question.
We drove in his Tesla 3 over here that he replaced with the one that he got rear-ended significantly in, and it destroyed the car.
Tesla
but we're able to
3.
be here today, so
great.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
So the question... Thank you. Thank you.
Not sure where to look. There? Okay.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Austin Gregory. I'll ask about this because I don't think it gets near enough love. But I was wondering if there are any updates on the next-gen Roadster, actually. Yeah.
Hey!
I know it's sort of like the cherry on top, and
Finally.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
You guys have a lot on your plate, if you've said before. But
Answer him!
like the release timeline, all that stuff, the SpaceX package, maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Thanks.
Do that before you advertise.
Totally fair and reasonable question. But where is that thing?
In space.
So we expect to complete the engineering and design of the next-gen Tesla Roadster this year, and hopefully start production. This is not a commitment, but hopefully start production next year.
It should be a commitment.
So
okay.
But
next year.
It is like as you alluded to. It's not even the icing on the cake. It's the cherry on the icing on the cake. So I wouldn't expect it to be like. It's definitely not going to be a huge contributor to revenue. It will be a modest contributor to profitability, but it will be sick. So
you just have a lot of free ones to give away.
There's some value to me running two companies because the next-gen Roadster will have the SpaceX option package. So that'll make it truly next level. So.
Yeah, let the Roadster
Hey,
pay
Elon.
for advertising.
Eva Macmillan here. First of all, I want to thank you for making the absolute best,
Stop thanking.
safest, and most fun cars in the whole world.
We don't have time for this.
Cars in Florida, we are seeing many more cars in Florida than a year ago.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, cars are doubled. So the question is,
what?
We all want Tesla insurance.
Oh,
is it coming?
Oh yeah. Actually, that's a great question.
That's not a good question.
Okay, Zach says it's coming later this year. But I have to tell you, like
they want to bring it everywhere.
One of the thorniest things in the United States is car insurance or insurance in general, because it's a state by state, and every state's got different rules and regulations. So that's why it's not like rolled out nationwide. I think really there should be one national standard for insurance, especially car insurance. I think it would improve the cost effectiveness of car insurance. But our intent is to roll out nationwide and ultimately internationally.
That was not a good question. He just didn't know the
There is a
answer.
staggering amount of paperwork that is needed to get it done. But as Zach said, we expect to offer Tesla insurance in Florida later this year. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elon. Thank you, Elon. Alexandra Mertz. I am Tesla Boomer Mama. Very happy to be here.
Oh.
So very grateful to the Tesla team and you, of course.
She
Just
made it.
want you to know we love the emotions every day, joy and less joy, but we're there. Shareholders, it's not easy. we're here not because it's easy, but
So the
because it's
Roadster's
hard.
4 years late?
So my question initially was on in-house financing. You already answered that, and I want to congratulate you to the double investment grade rating. But then I asked my Twitter subscribers, I'm sure you're going to appreciate, what they wanted to bring forward.
Sure.
And that question made the cut. Here we go. Automotive, including SAS, peak margin, the same for
SAS.
energy. What number and by when do you have the best Elon guess that we get there?
Sorry, I'm not sure I fully understand the question.
So this is the peak margin for automobile,
Oh, yeah.
including SAS and energy, and by when will we get there? Your guess. I know nobody will sue you.
Sorry, what's SAS?
Well,
Software as a
software
service.
as a service.
Oh, okay. You mean self-driving?
FSD,
Yeah, yeah.
what's going to be the top automobile margin? And
Yeah. I mean, what I was saying earlier is that at the point at which you have a truly autonomous vehicle that can drive around with no one in it, the utility of the vehicle, I think, as a rough guess, is probably 5 times what it is today, because people will drive an average of an hour and a half a day, perhaps, so 10 hours
per
a week.
car.
But if the car is autonomous, it can probably, just speculation, but it probably can operate for a third of the hours in the week, which would mean 50 or more hours, thus a 5-fold increase. But the car costs the same.
What?
Sure, I understand, but what is going to be the margin for Tesla then? Because you're
I don't
obviously
know.
thinking you're going to sell much more FSD then, right? You may have a system in place of robotaxis. You may have a cut with fleets. So did you do any projections what the automotive peak margin for Tesla could be in 2
is a
years,
weird
5
question.
years? And the same for energy.
I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, this is definitely, we're in sort of highly speculative territory here. But obviously, if you've got a car that costs the same and has, say, I don't know, a 20 or 25% margin,
I got
and
Tesla
suddenly
insurance
is
in
able to be
California.
used 5 times
It was
as
way
much,
cheaper than everyone
then you might have 80% margins, and the revenue would increase several-fold. That's why I say it's probably going to be the biggest asset value step change in history of Earth.
So much money. It'll print more money than the economy can take.
And energy does not have just simply
So
does not
rich.
have such an increase in asset utilization. So I would expect energy to remain at sort of a 25%-ish to 30% margin.
The banks won't be able to hold all of the money we make. It'll be
All right,
so valuable.
You said ask the tough questions. You're still good, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. First of all, though, as a family man, I just want to say there's a couple of things like a loop for tether of a car seat going through the headrest, which would be super helpful. There's a couple other things that would be really nice. The Model Y is the only one you can do that in today. Maybe we could fix that. But when we're thinking about 4680 battery cells, should we be thinking about the efficiency and the performance we're getting today? Or is there some updated timeline path that we could see closer to battery day presented efficiency, performance that we can look to in the future?
That was almost a good question.
Well,
they botched it.
First of all, it's really important to express the difficulty of, for Tesla to go from nothing to making a battery cell that we aspire to be better than any other battery cell on Earth, even when compared to companies where the only thing they do is make a battery cell, is obviously not a trivial exercise. That said, we do see a path to very high energy density and higher energy density and lower costs than anything else out there.
Eventually.
But it's a hard path. It's a very hard path.
We don't know.
And normally it would be absurd for companies to attempt such a thing. And no other car company is really attempting to do anything like this.
This is why I
in a
wouldn't do
serious way.
Q&As. Because they're
So
kind of
I guess technically
pointless.
BYD, because they started out as a battery company, but so it's a very difficult thing to do. But I think we are tracking to success in that regard. So.
We're gonna keep trying. That's all they can
Hey,
say.
Elon, first of all, thank you for undoubtedly making the world a better place for my son to live in.
Thank you. Can't even say.
What does your son like Twitter?
Once Cybertruck is fully ramped in Austin, what is the target production? And also, there's some rumors that you're thinking about stepping down as CEO. Please say it ain't so.
It ain't so.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Shucks. First question.
Yeah. So I think Tesla's going to play an important role in AI and AGI, and I think I need to oversee that to make sure it's good. So, because that's a thorny problem if there ever was one.
That's all he's doing at Tesla now.
I think generally people do not, or very few people, even in the AI community, do not appreciate just how much capability Tesla has in AI. It's by far the most advanced real-world AI.
So
There's no one even
Cybertruck.
close. And reality has the most degrees of freedom. So I got to make sure that's good.
Let's see. How's it doing?
Sorry, and you were saying something?
Something else?
Cybertruck fully ramps
Oh,
here in
yeah,
Austin.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Who gives it?
So
we'll build a lot
yeah,
of them.
we'll start production later this year. We'll start handing over cars later this year. There will be an S-curve of production, so it'll be slow at first.
Later this year.
And then ramping up.
Then later this year.
And I guess we'll see what the demand is like. So, I mean, I think there's...
You don't know?
We're likely to do probably $250,000 a year, I think, maybe more.
Yeah, that answer
And
hasn't
very much
changed.
dependent on what the demand is like, and it's we don't just need to ramp up production, but we also need to improve the production cost efficiency, which is
The
going to be
margin.
also a very very hard thing. So
Not easy truck to build, is what
but
they
I'd say
say.
it's $250,000 a year is a reasonable guess.
That's a lot less than
and
F-150s.
It might be 500,000. I don't know, but we'll make as many as people want and can afford. But then, like I said, it's going to be hard to make the cost of affordable because it is a new car, new manufacturing method. So.
Gonna be expensive.
In the grand scheme of things, relative to the production rate of all the other cars we make, it will be small, but still very cool. Yeah, thanks.
Elon, maybe 3 more questions?
Sure.
Thank you.
I love you. Bye.
Hey, Mr. Musk. Hello, my name is Delia Archer, and this question aims to address Tesla's efforts in developing skilled workforce, attracting diverse talent, and promoting career opportunities within the company. When I look around, I see a lot of young faces, and I think about internships and apprenticeships for
Really?
students in high school and beyond.
I see a lot
My
of old
question
faces.
is, are there any plans to expand existing partnerships and explore new avenues for collaborations with educational institutions and nonprofit organizations to attract the next generation and vary career pathways?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, with all of our gigafactories, we work with the local schools, actually from the high school level, community college, and university.
Work for
because
Elon.
it's incredibly important to
It's
foster
good for
talent
you.
for the factories. As you saw from the employment numbers, we actually need a lot of people. Even though we've got a lot of automation, we still need a lot of people to operate the factories.
Oh, it's
and it
almost
really
like
matters
you
that they
can't
have
use
the right
AI to
training.
replace
So,
all the
We're
workforce.
big believers in reaching out to
Interesting.
educational institutions, and because frankly, it's in our interest to do so. Thank you for asking the question. All right.
It's kind of a softball.
Elon,
No,
Josh Fuller.
we will
I
not
had,
work with the community.
Originally thought of asking about the fun police and pushing back on the boombox and allowing us to screech at people with goats again. But after seeing Optimus, I was inspired to ask, has anybody asked Optimus's opinion of Mars, and does he have a ticket yet?
Oh my God.
Well, Optimus is not a deep thinker at this point.
Are there real questions, or?
So Optimus is still, figuring out how to do basic stuff. It couldn't make, cook some eggs or something quite yet. So we need to get Optimus to the point where
how do we
it has
cook eggs?
Reasonable agility and can do basic things.
Hi, Dad. It's
and
your
we're
son.
aiming for to start off doing simple tasks that are sort of boring and repetitive, or dangerous. Basically,
Making
jobs
eggs.
people don't want to do.
I don't want to make eggs.
That's our goal.
Tell the bot to make them.
I'm confident we'll achieve that goal, and then we're going to figure out how to make it at scale, make sure that the robot is safe. I think it's going to be very important to have a local means of turning it off. So
Punch it in the face.
Safety is going to be extremely important. I can't emphasize that enough.
Optimus has
but
airbags
right now,
that deploy.
It is not at an intelligence level where it's pondering questions like Mars. But perhaps it will be one day.
He had to actually answer that instead of roll his eyes and say next question like he should have.
My name is Luke Arsenal. I just want to start off by saying a big thank you to you and the team of Tesla for all you guys do.
You look like a
It's
Luke.
been great to see, and I'm so happy for you guys.
Mm.
My question is, with the rise in cybersecurity threats to operational technology and Internet of Things, what steps is Tesla taking to protect the company
This guy.
itself and its products from these threats? Also,
She's so
as a
worried.
suggestion, 'cause I
Look
know
at
you
her.
like suggestions. For the navigation, do you think we could do something on the UI that adds in when you're about to take the off ramp to show a picture of that exit, kind of like other map systems do?
No.
And then also,
Oh man, this is a lot of questions.
one of my friends wanted to get a shaka from you, if that's possible.
Okay. Well, we are constantly improving the navigation system, and being robust to hacking is incredibly important. In fact, we conduct a lot of sort of third-party hacking contests to try to get the best hackers in the world to break into our cars. And actually, no one has yet actually broken into a Tesla in a way that would allow you to really control the car in a significant way. But they have gotten to where they can like honk the horn and mess with the infotainment system. And I'd like to thank them for their efforts. So we take information security extremely seriously.
You know it's bad when it starts
for
lagging and I get
navigation,
happier? I'm like,
yeah,
oh, is it
there's
over?
Definitely things we can improve there. But really,
Oh, thank God.
down the road navigation visuals are not going to matter very much because the car is going to take you wherever you want to go.
Did that gentleman ask for a shotgun?
Yeah. As for pictures, I have to decline, unfortunately, because otherwise, if I say, I actually hate being rude to people. So if I say yes to one person, then it's like selfies for a zillion. It gets kind of crazy. So, but thanks for asking. Maybe we'll take one or two more questions actually. So.
Oh boy, please wrap it up.
Sure.
Please.
I don't know.
Yeah, the kids at the local elementary school have better questions. That's true.
Hello. I had a question.
Oh, no, Gary
the
Black.
Efficiency. I don't know if you've been paying attention to Aptera, and I was curious if you thought that was a space that you could see Tesla getting into, as far as not just an efficient manufacturing process, but also the actual car itself and range.
Aptera. That was a bad question, but he mentioned
Or just buy.
I'm not super familiar with them, but we have a lot of we have a lot of products to get done. It's not like it's never a shortage of ideas. Ideas, frankly, I find ideas to be somewhat trivial, but the execution of the idea is extremely difficult.
Full
And
self-driving is an
prototypes
idea.
are easy. Production is hard. Production and cash flow positive is excruciating pain that you like at a level you cannot believe. So it's not product ideas; they're irrelevant. That's what I think of them.
It was a poorly phrased
It's
question.
sort of like the idea of going to the moon. That's not that's irrelevant. Getting to the moon is the hard part. So
I would have
okay,
phrased
so
that
maybe
question differently.
One last question, yeah.
Elon, John Lopez from Orlando here. I've got two things for you real quick. The first one is with rideshare being a growing thing, especially with Tesla owners, are we going to get a guest mode option available for that? The second thing is as an X-Plaid owner, I would really love to get track mode.
As a what, sorry?
X-Plaid.
Model X.
Well, Plaid has track mode.
The Model X Plaid does not, though.
Oh, Model X. Yeah, we can probably add that, sure. Yeah, no problem.
Oh, now they'll do it. They weren't doing it before.
Rideshare is a bunch of these things will really not be relevant in a self-driving world. You can summon the car and take you somewhere, and if you want to add someone to that ride, you can if you want to.
The bot is an idea.
But
Elon.
overwhelmingly, it is about achieving self-driving, full self-driving, and I think we're really getting to the final stages of full self-driving, where
don't say.
I mean, I drove for several days around Austin, just dropping pins in random locations, and I had 0 safety interventions. So it's really, and even in the city of San Francisco, which is very complex, I haven't had a safety intervention in a long time. So I think it's really getting to the point where, admittedly, I have been optimistic about this in the past, but I think this time.
Someone said, "Don't say it. Don't say it."
All right, I won't say it.
Well, thank you.
All right, fair enough. All right.
Well, acknowledge that it's kind of. Oh, shut up, everybody. Please.
Okay, I think it'll happen. So. All right. You want one last question? Sure.
I think it'll happen. That's what we've deducted FSD down to. Please
so
don't.
First, congratulations on your decision to try advertising. We all want Tesla to pass Apple in market cap.
I don't realize people wanted it that much. Okay.
It's good that a lot of people agree. So earlier this year, you cut prices on everything, 15, 20%. More recently, you've been raising prices on Model Y, Model S, Model X.
I doubt
and
Elon
can you
even
just
knows.
talk about the pricing strategy on Model Y going forward and keep it separate from the decision to bring out the next-gen vehicles that we all agree is going to, blow the doors off on volume. But just on Model Y, it's the best-selling product in the world. Can you just talk about strategy of pricing going forward on that?
Gary, what are you asking?
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, we see what the demand is, and then we adjust pricing to meet the demand. Now, the thing is that
it's that simple.
What is what happens with other car makers is that they're actually constantly adjusting pricing on cars. It's just not obvious. In the case of Tesla, you can see immediately when there's a price change that occurs because we don't have any intermediaries, don't have any dealers. There's no manufacturer's suggested retail price.
Have I not done a video on why Tesla ads are a bad idea?
But the reality is actually at car dealers, the prices are changing radically. I mean, last year there were significant premiums above MSRP at sort of the conventional car dealer, so you'd pay above MSRP last year, and then this year I think things are below MSRP or close to it. And then the manufacturers will then also offer incentives. So what's actually happening is are very big price shifts by other car makers. They're just not obvious. Whereas with Tesla, it's obvious. So this is necessary because demand fluctuates a lot. So something's got to be done to achieve a supply-demand clearing point for volume. So just people are reacting to something that's obvious as opposed to saying, oh yes, every car company does this all the time. Tesla is no exception. That's the actual reality. So, all right.
Supply and demand. I've been saying it for
Last
years.
question.
I'll be really quick.
Okay.
So I will say I have been driving FSD. My wife drives FSD. There's a term
quick.
called the wife test. My wife will only drive our kids on FSD. It's
Okay.
incredible.
That is a great. I mean, the sort of significant other test is a very a good test because for a while there was like friends or significant others would be like, please don't put it on. It's too scary. But then
Elon
it gets,
can't do
it's
the
getting
wife
to the point
test.
where, I mean, it's going to be just smooth as silk. So, in fact, you'll be able to visually tell, perhaps even now you can, visually tell if the car is being driven on FSD or manually, because if it's being driven on FSD, it's smooth and precise. And if you look at if you actually closely observe cars going down the highway,
One last question.
the people are constantly moving in their lanes. So the cars are like doing this all the time when they're manually driven. If it's actually on FSD, it's dead center in the lane. It will actually get to the point where it is not merely, and maybe is at that point, not merely safer than a person, but actually way smoother than manual driving. I can't say enough about the profundity of full self-driving. It is just one of the biggest changes in history that will occur. It's not some feature. it's like a profound.
It's kind of a feature.
It's really as profound as electrification. And that we already have millions of the cars on the road that will literally achieve this with a software update. I mean, that's like head exploding emoji, you know?
That is like an emoji.
I think probably a lot of people in this room realize it, but most of the rest of the world doesn't. Yeah, so.
Well, when you keep missing the deadline, it's kind of hard to get excited for it. I'm sorry. Makes you wonder if it's
how
possible.
incredible FSD is and how much, merit you're giving to potential future margins of the car.
I'll make it
as
quick.
well as how much impact on society. And given that they didn't even want you to say if it's going to happen this year, just not to jinx it.
Sure.
Would it be possible to have just for some type of public-facing, investor-facing kind of timeline, so that way, you mentioned V12 is coming, and that's AI front end. Could we just see kind of a timeline on this is the version we're at, these are the things we're working on, and this is when we're ETA, so we can kind of see that in real time instead of maybe Elon time.
So the thing that's been
get it done, basically.
really difficult with full self-driving is that it very often seems like it's about to happen until you realize that you're actually at a local maximum and that you need to re-architect elements of the software to get out of the local maximum to then a higher local maximum. So it's been this sort of series of logarithmic curves. And that's why it's been like, it seemed like, if you just extrapolate this on a straight line, it gets to self-driving, except that it's not a straight line, it's a logarithmic curve, and it sort of, and you start hitting these like local maximums where you'll sort of asymptote to a certain capability and then have to re-architect things.
You could be in that right now, Elon.
Now, I think we're finally at a high enough local maximum, or will be this year, where to the point where it
You're
is
still extrapolating.
I think, probably safer than a person, meaning the probability of injury on average will be better than a person, even if someone pays no attention to the car. It is worth saying that right now, for human supervised Tesla full self-driving, it is dramatically safer than manual driving.
Yeah, because if
It's
it gets
like,
in an
I
accident,
think
the
like
driver's to blame,
4
not the
times
software.
safer, maybe more. So it is already a massive safety improvement to have human supervised FSD right now. And I think we will get to the point
Because you're more paranoid when the car's driving.
where
you're like,
we're going to be in some amount of local maximum, but I think that we'll be in a local maximum that exceeds human level safety this year. Yeah, but I guess we'll see.
He just said it. He just said it.
Anyway, I want to thank you all for coming, and so.
Oh, brother. Right, that's a good point. Mike brought up a good point. If it's dramatically safer, then don't require hands on the wheel, because our hands are dangerous, apparently.
Just want to say, your support is super appreciated,
Oh my God, all these phones.
As they say, a friend in need is a friend indeed, and supporting Tesla when the chips are down, those are the real friends, and you're them. So thank you.
Okay. I think it's done. I think we're done. Practically. All right, help me out, chat. Let's try to figure this out. Was the... Oh, there's X. That's cute. How adorable. They're all cheering him on. I don't think he wants to be on stage. Yeah, okay. Bye. Yeah, help me out, chat. Was there any new information at this presentation at all? I'm grasping at straws here. I think the newest thing I could possibly gather was he said they're working on 2 new products, and they gave us a teaser image, which I will pull up here. This screenshot, which looks very much like a Model 3, right? That's Model 3 to me, or a Y. I guess it could be a Y. I mean, granted, the Cybertruck teaser was not very accurate to the actual Cybertruck, so... Oh, there was barely... Would you consider that a Roadster update? I would not consider that really a Roadster update. All he really said is that they're going to finish the engineering on it this year and start production next year. He said the exact same thing last year. Well, Elon has an interview at 6 p.m. with David on CNBC. Oh, I bet that'll be super insightful. Friends don't let friends advertise. I just think comparing Netflix advertising to Tesla advertising is an incredibly... Sorry, Kevin, I'll say... it's an incredibly stupid comparison. Like, most advertising is done for impulse purchases. Things like snacks and food and memberships like that. Like, hey, you could watch a movie tonight if you sign up for Netflix. Oh, yeah, that might be fun. There's a new show I wanted to check out on Netflix, too. Okay, I'll sign up for Netflix. Or, wow, that commercial had Pepsi in it, and the Pepsi looked really refreshing. I'm going to go out and get some Pepsi. That's not the same as, oh, wow, Teslas are safe. I'm going to go buy a $45,000 car. No, when people see Tesla ad, they're going to think, oh, Elon wants my money. Elon bad. Elon right wing. Therefore, I need to not buy Tesla because electric cars explode. And they have all this FUD, all of this negative media going at them. I don't think Tesla advertising is the right way to go about fighting the FUD. I think that just by delivering more of the product and achieving more and more affordability so that more people can afford the product, that results in more people buying the product and driving it around, making the people that think they're all going to explode or making the people that believe the FUD look more and more stupid over time. Yeah, who pays attention to ads anyway? That's a good point. If they advertise on Twitter, they don't have to spend any money unless he wants Tesla to support Twitter. I'm pretty sure they would. I don't think that's how... I think Elon would be in legal trouble with the SEC if they just let Twitter start pushing ads for Tesla for free. That's kind of a conflict of interest. I don't think it's necessarily free, and I don't think that's what he said he was going to do. Yeah, I agree with Giovanni completely. Improve the product, ignore Clown Kevin. The problem is everybody at the shareholder meeting just cheers whenever he says they're going to do advertising, so he thinks, oh, everybody must want that. You can't like provide critical thinking to just a crowd mentality. He brought up his kid at the end. Nice. I mean, I guess. Why is that super cool? I guess. How else do you fight the FUD than advertise? I just told you. You deliver more of the product and make the product better. Increasing spending on advertising makes the product more expensive. That's just objectively how it works. It increases your customer acquisition costs. Advertising does not fight FUD. We know this. Has iPhone ads ever convinced you that Apple doesn't use, child labor or slave labor in the production of iPhones? That doesn't fight iPhone FUD. If people don't want an iPhone, they're not going to buy an iPhone. Watching an iPhone commercial doesn't change their mind. All that ads are good for are nudging people and reminding them that something exists that they haven't bought in a while. Hey, did you know there's a new iPhone? Oh, yeah, I guess I haven't updated my iPhone in a while. I guess I should get one. People don't do that with cars. That's why automotive conversion rates are incredibly low. It's because people don't buy that many cars based on ads. That's why advertisements for cars are not very educational. They're very They try to go viral by putting logos in your face and celebrities, like Will Ferrell advertising the Lyric. It was not educational. It's just meant to go viral so that their logo is plastered everywhere. Most people don't know how safe and affordable Teslas are. I agree, but advertising doesn't change that. You're saying people see a Tesla on the road and go, that's unaffordable and dangerous. And then they watch a commercial that says, actually, Teslas are very affordable and very safe. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'll buy one now. Like, that's not how people watch ads. That doesn't work. Butts in seats. Tesla has delivered over 4 million cars without spending a dime on advertising. So don't try to tell me that there's no... And there was far worse FUD years ago than there is now. Far worse FUD. If the media is being paid by someone, then they aren't going to say anything bad. No, they're going to keep saying bad. So basically, you're saying Tesla has to pay everybody. The media is not one entity. It's a bunch. So Tesla has to pay everybody for advertising, and then they'll change their mind. Have you seen the Tesla video of Tesla Bot in the Cybertruck? Yeah, they showed that at the beginning. But yeah, Tesla Bot update again. That someone pointed it out in the comments. Basically, the Cybertruck is like dangling keys in front of a toddler. So the bot is not that interesting, but by putting the bot in front of the Cybertruck, more people are interested. Okay, walking. One leg jumping. Stops on an egg. See, we can crack the egg. Environment discovery. Yes, it can see the path. Okay, we're counting. Yeah, I don't think this is any different. I just like that shot at the end. 2, 3 Cybertrucks all in one frame. I don't think... How would telling them the price not convince them that it costs less? Because they all believe FUD anyway. They're not going to trust Tesla telling them that it costs less. Because they say, oh, the battery needs to be replaced in 4 years. Like, that's not gonna sway people. At least I know people that are dismissive of EVs, and an advertisement is not what they would convince them. No one buys cars based on advertisements. Maybe they subscribe to Netflix or buy Pepsi or maybe buy an iPhone, but that's a totally different purchase. It's like advertising, you know, I don't know, advertising that you should buy a particular house. Either that house is the one you want or it's not the one you want. And I think a lot of people choose to believe the FUD because they don't want the Tesla anyway. That is the final design for the Cybertruck since they showed it. I mean, yeah, it's probably close to it, but I just mean Teslas don't really ever have a permanent final design. Teslas are constantly updating and iterating their designs on the inside and the outside. They change things left and right. So this is probably close to what the Cybertruck that goes into production will look like, but there will probably be more changes made in the future. Most people think Teslas cost $80,000. Yeah, and I'm just saying, I'm not disagreeing that there are people that don't know. My point, sorry. I'm not saying there's people that don't know about Tesla. I'm saying advertising is never effective in educational manners, especially for cars. You don't educate people through ads. Have you noticed that Pepsi's not advertising how healthy Pepsi is for you? Apple tries to advertise like education. Did you know the iPhone? It's just flashy music that plays and show. Look at this new color. Like billions of dollars were spent on advertising that the iPhone 14 comes in yellow because they know that education. You don't tell people about how much faster the chip is and what that correlates to. They just flash things really quickly because they know attention spans are weak, especially with ads. Yeah, if it doesn't work, they'll stop. Hopefully they do. I would much rather Tesla make the product cheaper and better than keep the prices the way they are and spend more money on advertising, because that's rewarding people that don't know about EVs and penalizing people that do know. I know at least 5 people in my personal life, 5 households, I should say, that want to buy a Tesla but can't because of how they're priced. Advertising is choosing to keep prices higher so that you can target demographics with more money but are not interested in EVs. You're saying we need to sell more cars towards people who aren't interested in electric vehicles, opposed to selling more cars to people who are interested in electric vehicles but can't afford them. Yeah, that people don't do any research. I agree, but that's why I'm saying that advertising wouldn't change that. They're not going to trust the ad. They're not going to believe it. That's kind of why I'm getting a Pixel 7a in red coral. It's about the color more so than the education. I think you guys are in a bubble. You're in a bubble that's convinced advertising is educational, and that's not true. I know that I know most people are completely clueless about Teslas, but I don't think, you could have applied this exact same logic before the Model 3 came out. You could have said before they released the Model 3, no, Tesla can just keep selling Model S's and X's, but we need to keep advertising the Model S and X so that more people buy that rather than introduce the Model 3. It's the exact same argument. Well, there's more people buying expensive cars. They should be buying Teslas, and they should be spending $80,000 plus on them. But no, Tesla focused on increasing production, lowering prices, and that's what incentivized them to make this car so that I could actually afford a Model 3 and buy it and drive it around. Reward people that are interested in electric vehicles. Don't reward the people that are dismissive of EVs and try to get into an online fight with them via 30-second ads. You're not going to educate that many people with 30-second to 60-second ads. Most people are on their phones anyway when the car commercials start playing. And a lot of people that are dismissive of EVs are not buying them for all kinds of reasons. I don't think it's because they have money to afford them. A lot of the time it's just they prefer their gas and they don't want to try a new thing. And I don't think an ad is going to change that. Tesla ads will be equally as effective as political ads. Well, I hope that's not the mindset towards it, because in the political ad space, or in a lot of the ads space for automotive brands, it's not about, it doesn't work when you say, we'll spend a little bit on advertising. No, you have to spend billions on advertising for it to actually pay off. So that's why there's so many automotive companies that dump billions in advertising, is because the conversion rates are so low. People don't hear Bryan Cranston talking about built Ford tough and then go out and buy a truck. So for it to actually be justified, you have to spend billions on it to actually get a return on that investment, just to remind people, hey, there's a new truck and it's got a new thing. No, there wasn't anything notable. Sorry. I would like to see a press fleet for automotive journalists, not TV ads. There are dedicated YouTube channels for reviews. I do trust them. Just a press fleet, no 15-second ads. I think that the YouTubers do a decent enough job. I think what's far more valuable is third-party reviews, which Tesla can't really incentivize other than through referral programs, unless you're suggesting Tesla pay off videos in which they become sponsored, but I think that takes away a lot of the credibility. Most people buy cars these days not because they saw an ad for one that made it look good. Mostly they base it off of what they know. I bought a Toyota before and that did well, or I bought a Ford before and that didn't go well, so I'm not going to buy that again, or I want to buy this again because it was reliable. And then they hear about new models either through friends, family, or see them driving down the street, and then they look up reviews. What are owners saying about it? What does the manufacturer say? You don't care what the manufacturer thinks about the new Tacoma or the new F-150. You go online and look up F-150 2020 review, and what do people think of that model of the F-150, and is it that much different from a previous model? There's so much more research that goes on with an automotive purchase, because outside of real estate, it's like the most expensive thing people buy. They don't have to be experts on it, but advertising does have a positive impact, even if it's just a little big. Maybe I'm looking for a car and I need a nudge. That's when an ad comes in. I don't think it would be as effective as just continuing to lower prices. I think that's the nudge most people need, not, oh, I saw an ad. Well, I need to get a car. What car should I buy? Tesla commercial. Did you know that Teslas are safe? Wow, they're safe? That's amazing. I'm going to buy that one then. I don't visualize that scenario. I don't think that's how it works. But yeah, this was pretty much what I expected it to be. The shareholder meeting was a recap of Investor Day and a bunch of bad questions where guys dressed as robots say, "Hi, Dad, it's your son." Ooh, and ask a bunch of decent questions, but of course they can't be answered. And I guess what upset me the most is Tesla teasing us on new product designs, but not unveiling them. Just don't talk about it. If you're not ready to talk about it, just don't bring it up. You think Tesla should go for quality instead of quantity, or keep how they are? Their mission statement is all about quantity. Nothing about their mission statement implies quality. Um, Tesla's mission statement from the beginning, which I'll admit they haven't really detracted much from, has always been accelerate the transition, which means deliver more. It doesn't mean deliver the best. So even if the quality control was better and the customer service was more highly rated and they had more desirable vehicles than any other car brand, that wouldn't be supporting their mission statement as much as delivering more of something with less quality. So their focus is all about quantity, which is why I'm still I think Elon's working on kind of dated information. I don't know how much he's aware of that goes on at Tesla. Like, he said he hadn't heard of Aptera, even though Aptera has been working with Tesla and adopting NACs and testing them at the superchargers. He didn't know when Tesla Insurance was going live in Florida. I think he's probably spent most of his past 6 to 9 months at Twitter. And I just don't think, from what it sounded like when people asked, are you stepping down as CEO, his answer was, I want to oversee the creation of AGI, and I think Tesla's the closest to that. So I think Elon thinks he needs to be at Tesla because they're working on AGI. I don't think he's that involved with actual, like, you know, product offering and pricing. Like, I don't think he's really aware of what the Model 3Y, S, or X costs. And he said things like most of their vehicles have LFP. I don't really know how true that is, considering there's only one Model 3 that we know of for sure in the United States that has LFP, and we know that most of their sales are Model Y, none of which are LFP, at least in the US. So maybe the Model Y and 3 that are LFP in China are compensating for all the non-LFP Teslas. I don't think Giga Berlin is using LFP yet either. I've converted a few to high-end EVs lately. 2 recently test drove my Lucid/Tesla, but didn't want to wait. One got an e-tron GT, another bought a Porsche Taycan. Both picked up same vehicle, same day. Butts in seats is what I'm telling you. I hope they keep using them. I've heard terrible stories of people buying e-trons or Taycans and then plugging them in and having such a horrible experience with, oh my God, there's a chicken in my garage right now. Look. Bruh, what are you doing? Zoom in. What are you doing? How'd you get in here? I need to fart at him. I think I can fart at him. Let me get the emissions mode. Fart outside the car. There it goes. He's reacting. He's making chicken noises. Are you laying eggs in here? Hey! Bruh, get off my mower. Here, come on. He's talking back. You talking back to me right now, sir? Oh my God. How did you get in here? How? Why? He wants to talk to all of you. Chicken has a question. Get off. Wow. Okay. Well, he's just gonna keep... Chicken is gonna keep doing chicken things, I guess. That was so random. I was just in the middle of ranting, and then this chicken jumps up. Like, how did you get in? So I start farting, and he starts talking back. Oh, that's amazing. No, he said most Teslas have LFP. But what do you mean most batteries LFP? I don't think that's true either. I don't believe they've switched Megapack and Powerwall. The chicken's gonna scratch my car. The chicken wanted to give a FSD beta opinion. That's fair. Yeah, he said someone brought up, it was poorly phrased. Okay, let's play a fun game here. Yeah, I should honk the horn. Oh my God. Okay. Can you shut up? They're still clucking. Is there more? Wow. I don't see any other chickens, but maybe he's a fan of the channel. Okay, Mike, here's how I would have phrased it. Here's how I would have brought Aptera news into the shareholder meeting. I would have said, for upcoming automotive brands like Aptera who have selected the North America charging standard, will they be able to access any supercharger, or will they have to use Tesla superchargers with the Magic Dock despite not having CCS? Done. That's how I would have phrased my question. Actually, that would have been my number one question if I was at the event. Yes, the rear-wheel drive Model 3 and Y in China are LFP, but what Elon was implying in his response was that most of the Tesla vehicles had LFP, so that would imply that the rear-wheel drive Model Y and 3 are outselling all of the all of the all-wheel drive Teslas, which include every Model Y coming out of Giga Texas and every Model Y coming out of Berlin. The chicken was not happy with the breaking of the egg servo demonstration. Exactly. Car owner reviews on YouTube. I take with a giant grain of salt because they are both. Giant grain of salt because they're... Wait, what? I would not trust Tesla owners on YouTube. They are biased. So would you trust the Tesla ad more? If you don't trust the owner's perspective, why would you trust the manufacturer's perspective, I guess is my question. Tesla cannot lower prices much more, especially in China. Well, they're still selling at all-time high volume, so... Like, as you increase... I'm in favor of them essentially doing what they're doing right now. Like, stay the course. Now he's walking right up to the door. Should I... Okay. Here we go. Okay, he ran away. Oops. He ran away when I opened my door. I don't think he knew I was in here. Can chickens tell? Okay. No, keep the AC on, Tesla, please. Tesla chicken. Coming 2024. Yeah, I would love to see the breakdown on that. Basically, because Model 3 prices can't go much lower, and because they feel like they've kind of tapped out on their demand levers, they are refreshing it, updating it, making it cheaper to produce, and making it more desirable, generating hype, basically, by updating the Model 3, and that will bring in more sales, and that will let them have more margin or more room to lower prices and increase the number of people who are willing to buy one. I find that a far better strategy than let's spend money on trying to convince people to buy them at today's prices. So I don't know if Elon's little side comment about what Kevin asked is enough for the Tesla board to actually do anything. My hope is that he kind of just said that left and right, but then what Tesla actually does is a whole separate thing. You made the chicken feel welcome. Yeah, I hope basically the Tesla board is more aware of what's going on and a bit wiser with their spending. Now I'm advertising for KFC. I know. Do they have a referral program? But yeah, just whenever you order your Tesla, please just remember, use a referral code. It doesn't have to be mine, but I put mine everywhere to make it really easy and simple. It's in the about section of this channel. It's in the description of the stream. Just whenever you're ready, whenever you decide to buy one, please use somebody's code so you can get some free stuff at least. I feel like now if you order a Tesla without a referral code, you're basically just lighting at least 30, 70 bucks on fire, essentially. You're just burning it. You're wasting free stuff, I think. So hopefully they continue to lower prices. I hope the advertising doesn't take away from that. I don't know if they can legally, but yeah, I guess if there was a way to advertise for free on Twitter, I just don't think it's effective. I feel like most people are aware of what Tesla is. And if they're ill-informed, they kind of want to be ill-informed. They're not willing to... Basically, like, if you're not willing to do the 2 seconds of research, you know, it doesn't take long to open Tesla.com, click custom order, and see what the prices are. And you just scroll through one web page. It doesn't take more than a minute for you to understand, okay, they're superchargers, they charge fast, the battery lasts a long time, they're safe, they're reliable, like, they're great cars. If you're not willing to do that, then and you hear the FUD, then it's just Tesla's word against the FUDs. Why would someone who's dismissive and doesn't, if they've read FUD before and they've read from the media that Teslas are unsafe and Teslas are expensive and they're going to explode and you have to replace the battery pack every 5 years for $30,000. If you believe those things, you've read that probably many times. Are you suddenly going to just change your mind because of one commercial? Or does seeing people in your personal life or seeing more Teslas driving around on the road, I would say just the seeing the masses adopt EVs convinces more people than seeing ads about EVs. Like Lucid has spent far more on advertising than Rivian has, and it doesn't matter. Lucid can't change around their demand issue because people can't afford the Lucids. So basically that's my fundamental point, is like the pricing and the availability and the affordability is what matters a lot more than educating the people who don't believe in it. There's a lot of people that do believe in it that just can't afford it. I know those people personally, and I would much rather inform the well-educated than try to argue and fight with the uneducated. The problem is, I think most people are just assuming that the average consumer who believes the FUD and is dismissive of EVs will suddenly be convinced because of a paid-for Tesla advertisement. Like, you think that'll change their mind. Like, I know people in my personal life that are like that and dismissive of electric vehicles and don't believe in them. And trust me, a 30-second to 60-second ad or paid-for ad by Twitter or journal... advertisement in a website or something, I don't think that would change their mind. They're still going to say, no, Tesla's trying to get me to buy something. That's all advertisements come across as. You're trying to get me to buy this, and you don't want me to think about how explosive or dangerous they are. No, they're not explosive or dangerous. Yeah, sure. You know, why would they suddenly believe in them? If they're willing to believe in them in the first place, they wouldn't believe in the FUD. Because you do 2 seconds of research. If you're not willing to do the 2 seconds of research, I don't think the advertisement's going to change anything. Yes, there will be people who believe in that FUD, but I'd say ignore those people. They'll continue to pay for gas and they'll continue to pay for inferior products, and the more friends and family members or even strangers they see around them enjoying the EV, driving them for years and years, and posting about them. Hey, I love my Tesla. Hey, it's got great storage space. Oh, I love supercharging. They keep seeing that. Eventually they're going to feel crazy. If everybody's doing it, mass adoption, I guess, is my suggestion. Alex on Auto is the gold standard. He drives a lot of vehicles, gives good advice. Yeah, I mean, they might be biased, but how is a manufacturer not going to be biased? That's what I'm asking you. Tesla Super Bowl advertisement would be interesting to see, though. I think it would probably be repetitive and unnecessary. If you have an ad that says a Model 3 for only $500 a month, well, they practically already have that. But if you don't, if you believe that Teslas are too expensive, you're not going to trust it. You're going to say, yeah, 500, but then the battery pack explodes. Or my friend, I saw a news article about a Tesla that drove itself and it crashed. If you believe that stuff, it doesn't matter if Tesla says it's only $499 a month. They're not going to believe the actual advertised pricing because they know there's going to be other fees and down payments required, and it's going to cost more, and requires you to do research to actually buy really any car, a decent amount. And anyone who does research into Teslas, I think, is aware of what they offer. And I also try to remind people that even educated people might not want a Tesla for many reasons. Could be because they don't like Elon and they don't want to support him and his political viewpoints, or it may be because Teslas are too minimal, they have too few buttons and dials, or they don't have accessibility handles, more traditional car stuff. Some people want to key fobs, but some people want a speedometer behind the wheel. And there's people out there that are perfectly aware and conscious of what Tesla has to offer and might choose not to buy it. But you're going to be spending money on advertising to these same people, which is why advertising is okay, the chicken's back on the lawnmower. Oh boy. If Elon has mentioned anything about the glass being any different than the 2017 presentation? they haven't said anything about it. In fact, they didn't even mention Tesla armored glass at the Tesla Semi event. So if anything, my guess is they've scrapped Tesla armored glass. You don't need ads. Don't care for TV ads. I've watched hours of videos, did months of research for my car. There you go, Elizabeth. That's what I think most people are in that situation. We can agree on that. They don't need ads. Average consumer doesn't do research. They will literally believe whatever you tell them. I don't think that's... I think you're oversimplifying a bit. I think it's not just... because you have to get subliminal, you know? That's why the car commercials for Lincoln are not, buy a Lincoln, and people go, okay, I will now buy Lincoln. No, you have to tug at their heartstrings. You have to put Matthew McConaughey in the Lincoln. You know, we all achieve for freedom. And people go, oh, I remember Matthew McConaughey. And there's some association that goes on with it, but it's not a lot of education. And if people have a predetermined... That's what most people are pushing advertising for, is people that believe in the FUD. I don't think that's going to turn around. There's too much of an Elon association with Tesla. If there were 100 people in my personal life, literally only one of them understands EVs like we all do here. It makes me feel like I'm the only one believing the FUD. The masses. That's my point. Sorry, my uncle just texted me. My uncle that's interested in buying a Tesla. It's funny, I was just thinking of him because I have what's funny is on my dad's side I have an Uncle Ron who bought a used Model S, and then on my mom's side I have a different Uncle Ron who loves this car. I've let him drive it a few times for his birthday and stuff, and he drove it around, but it's a price thing for him. He's just like, yeah, it's great. I just want the prices to get lower so that I can afford it. He did buy an e-bike, and he's been riding around his e-bike a lot. He showed me his e-bike, and I got to test ride it and everything. That was fun. But yeah, like, I'm in that similar position of like, yeah, I know a lot of people are dismissive of them, but I know for a fact that by me driving one around, I have opened up the doors of possibilities for so many more people in my personal life to say, well, if Drew really likes it, you know, I don't, I'd hope to think this is how family and friends are looking at me. I don't think Drew is stupid. Why would Drew buy a car if the battery explodes or the battery needs to be replaced? So they ask me questions about it. I pick him up from the airport, or I go to a family event and they check it out. Oh, do you like it? Yeah, it's great. Don't you have to replace the battery? Nope. It lasts a long time. And how much was... Oh, it was less than you'd think. It's not a $100,000 car, and this is the cheap one, and it's still really fast, the rear-wheel drive, and you can charge it to 100%. I think that's far more powerful. That's how Tesla got where we are today. Tesla with over $20 billion in cash. Tesla with a higher market cap than any other automaker. Tesla with, you know, whole channels based around just talking about the Cybertruck and hyping. All of this brand was powered through word of mouth, basically, and like YouTubers talking about it. That's gotten Tesla an immense amount of success to where they are now. But now everyone wants them to behave like all the gas automakers. Well, everybody else pays for ads, so you should pay for ads too. Okay, everybody else has gas vehicles. Should Tesla make gas vehicles too to increase margins and market share? I don't think so. Cybertruck literally is the advertisement. Tell me you see that in a parking lot and don't check it out. Exactly. Literally everybody... Okay, he just jumped in front of the mower. Can you get out of there, sir? Sorry. I'm just babysitting my neighbor's chickens. These are my neighbor's chickens, and they don't lock them up, so they just kind of wander around our yard. Yeah, I'd say butts in seats, and yeah, especially something as drastically weird as the Cybertruck. That's going to sell far more cars than any Super Bowl ad is. All automakers do ads. All automakers have gas engines. Should Tesla have gas engines? Is that your point? There isn't inherently anything bad about not advertising. No, I would argue there's perks. There's great perks. Sure, I may be biased because I'm a YouTuber, so I have a lot to benefit from referral programs. But I think referral programs are a beautiful thing, not just for me, but for everybody. I think having a system that rewards people for not just... Okay, that's one thing to be hired as an advertising department lead for Tesla, and you are now paid to put ads on Twitter, put ads on TV, or put ads in the Super Bowl, whatever you want to do, versus reward your customers. That's how you build a loyal fan base that wants to keep coming back. People that buy your product, that enjoy it, so they tell other people to also check it out, So you reward them not with money, but with more perks of owning that car, whether it be the free supercharging or the free merch, or maybe even if you refer a ton of people all the way up to enhanced autopilot or full self-driving. Like, reward your customers rather than reward the FUD, reward the media that's been attacking you for all these years. The other could technically the other automakers could stop advertising and save money because they already are so well entrenched. I honestly think I think they should consider that personally. I wonder how many people are going out and buying new F-150s because they saw an ad about it. Really? Like, are people doing that? I bet it's in these days, in the age of the internet, in the age of smartphones, like when an ad comes out on TV, there's more people going to their phone now between commercial breaks than ever. Automotive conversion rates are incredibly low. I cannot emphasize that enough. Very few people go out and buy cars because they saw an ad for one, which is why it made no sense for Tesla to do it. In my head, I'm grateful they didn't do it, and I'd much rather Tesla just put more resources towards rewarding people for buying the product in the first place. Why would engine type have to do with that? Because your logic is other automakers do it. That's your same argument. Well, because other automaker does this, Tesla should also do this. And that's horrible logic, in my opinion. That's a really dumb reason to do something, is because everyone else is doing it. Everyone else has worse margins than Tesla. Everyone else is shrinking market share. Tesla's growing. Those who want a BMW will buy a BMW. Yeah, exactly. And I know a lot of people that are just Toyota fanatics. I have some really good friends that just love Toyotas. They love the Civic, and they love the Tacoma, and they love the Ford. They're just like, I love Toyota. So we had great experiences with our Toyotas. We're going to keep buying Toyotas. I don't think he's going to keep buying Toyotas because he saw ads about Toyota. Yeah, you're using the same argument. They're the same kind of business. So basically what I understand is you're saying Tesla should do what other automakers do. Right, because all these other automakers are being so successful with all their negative margins and needing to be bailed out left and right and losing all this money on cars and spending money on advertising. They should be more like them. Never mind engine type, they're both cars. Just saying. There's a flaw with that argument. That's a flaw. It's just other automakers are doing worse. That's a fact. Tesla proved that today at the shareholder meeting. Other automakers have worse margins, and they're advertising. So why do you want them to behave like other automakers? Ryan says, I didn't want a Tesla until I drove a friend's. That was the ad. Drove one, wanted one. Exactly. I'm in the exact same camp. If Tesla could go from no cars delivered in 2007 to 4 million cars delivered today without a penny on advertising, I'm sorry, I don't believe that they need advertising for any particular reason. Or yeah, Christian, I work for Toyota, so I'm biased now. People just don't decide what car to buy based on ads. It's a lot of test driving, which Tesla offers. Tesla is the blueprint for a successful car company. I agree, and I think more car companies should behave more like Tesla, not vice versa. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things Tesla does that I don't appreciate. I don't like the hype surrounding full self-driving. I'm okay with it as a driver assistance feature. Advertising it, or not advertising it, but marketing it as what it is. You know, Tesla doesn't even really pay for advertising, but the kind of advertising they do for FSD, where they brand it as, oh, it'll drive itself and robo-taxis and it'll make you money, that annoys me, and that's not even really advertising. It's the talk, I guess. One of the reasons I love Tesla so much is that it's not about talking about why the product's great, it's just making the product great. It speaks for itself. Yeah, Tesla, they still have a marketing department. You know, there's someone that has to design the artwork for the events, and they have to hire people to, you know, set up all these live streams and play music, and that's still part of a marketing department. But they're not paying money to push these events or these videos in front of people who are just browsing Twitter, or before they watch a YouTube video, you don't put an ad. Hey, there's a shareholder meeting coming up. How your white interior holding up? Do we know if the Cybertruck will have the white option or just black? We have no idea. My guess is it'll be just black. But yeah, the white interior is holding up great. There's a few little spots that are showing some signs of wear, but it's not a huge deal. Kind of back there, you can see where the seat belt is rubbing against the white seat. It leaves little black marks, but you don't really notice it that much unless you're looking for it. I was talking to this one guy, and he said that he would never buy a Tesla because the government could take control and crash him. Yes, I know people exactly like that. Again, an advertisement's not going to convince that guy. If he believes that a government can take control of the car and drive him off a cliff, no amount of Tesla advertising is going to convince that guy that it's safe to drive or safe to own. But Tesla does have marketing department to host these events and send out invites, and that's all marketing stuff. What was the key stuff I missed? I don't think there was much. It was mostly a recap of Investor Day. Tesla's doing fine. Tesla has good margins. Tesla's increasing production. I guess the newest thing we got today was Elon mentioning that they have 2 new products in development that they'll talk about for another day. And I screenshotted the little teaser image they showed. This was the teaser image, which I don't think is very helpful. It basically just looks like a Model 3 or Y. I can't really gather much else from that. Be open with preview. Maybe we should increase the lighting. Where is that not in here? Oh my god, chickens jumping around. Well, the chickens sure keeping this live stream interesting. But anyway, sorry if you were expecting the event to be more exciting or engaging. I found it mostly recap, and it's kind of pointless to me. Oh yeah, the Roadster update. There wasn't really much of an update. He said the same thing he said last year, which was we're going to finish the engineering this year and start production next year. He said that in 2022. I think that was at Cyber Rodeo in April. He said they would deliver Roadster next year. And now it's 2023, and he's saying we'll deliver Roadster next year. Which car brands have the most loyal customers? I thought I saw on a chart recently that said Tesla had really high customer retention. I've not been to the Peterson Museum, but it looks amazing. I would love to go. Yeah, there wasn't really a Roadster update. Do you think Tesla is going to slow with how many products they roll out? I mean, they kind of already have. What have they unveiled recently? It was a Cybertruck in 2019, and then after that, it was just kind of Battery Day, AI Day. I guess they talked about. I guess there's a Plaid Model S in 2021, but they said it would have 520 miles of range, and then decided against that and went with 350 miles of range instead. I guess they showed a picture of their new powertrain that doesn't use rare earth materials, but they didn't say what that's going in or when that'll be available. They just said, which again, they already told us that was happening at Investor Day. So, yeah, it's not much substance to this, which is why I personally, you notice Apple has some of the best advertising, has the best marketing team in the world, right? Apple's a super valuable brand, spends gobs of money on advertising and marketing every year, and they don't have 4 events. Rarely do they have 4 events a year, maybe once in a while. Apple really only has 2 main events per year, and occasionally they'll throw in another one. But they have an event for their software in June, and then they have an event for their hardware, for their iPhone, in September. And they're pretty tight, pretty concise compared to these events. I wish Tesla would be a bit more like that, because Investor Day was 5 hours of recap and history lesson, basically. And I was concerned after Investor Day. I said, what's the point of the annual shareholder meeting if this is going to just be a recap event, basically, where we just talk about the state of the company, but we don't really announce anything. And yeah, that was exactly what this was. It's just Elon said, we just got to recap some stuff here. And then when he was done recapping, they took questions, and any kind of good question was like, oh, we can't talk about that yet. And most of the questions weren't that good anyway. Yeah. But I do agree there's too much Elon association with the brand. It would be kind of nice for Tesla to be looked at as more of a separate thing, because at these events you get people asking about Twitter and asking about, how are you doing, Elon? You know, what do you think the margin will be in 5 years? We're all just speculating here. Elon probably has less of an insight than a lot of the Tesla board does, to be honest, because of how much time he spends at other companies. But I'm still a shareholder. I'm not selling my stock. I'm still a happy Tesla customer. I want them to focus more on real things. You know, Elon said that in response to Aptera. There's ideas are trivial. Ideas are a waste of time. Well, Elon, most of what you're working on at Tesla is ideas. Full self-driving as a robo-taxi is an idea. It's not executed. It's mostly just very expensive party tricks for now, because you still want my hands on the wheel. And I love the focus on making more affordable transport with better efficiency. I'm excited for that kind of stuff, which is why I was more pumped for them to hopefully unveil something. They said we're working on 2 new products that they'll unveil at another date, but we don't know when that is. The one services event in 2019 that was half an hour of meaningful announcements. Yeah, that was horrible. Luckily, they don't do that. Is it best for the battery on a Model Y when I'm charging out a supercharger on a trip? To charge often as possible or drive as long as possible before I charge up my battery? I think for time motivation, you're better off. You're wording it wrong. It's not about charging as often as possible. It's just charging until you can reach your next stop. The Tesla does it for you. I don't think you need to fight the Tesla system very much. The Tesla will tell you when you can disconnect and continue on your trip. Just listen to that. I find it tends to over exaggerate how long you need to charge for. On my last road trip, I unplugged when it said 5 minutes remaining to continue trip, and I still arrived at my destination with charge to spare. That may be because I'm a featherfoot, though. Like, I'm a pretty efficient driver. Maybe if you're not an efficient driver, you should pay attention to the in-car navigation. But no, I definitely don't think the goal is you shouldn't be charging up as high as possible, as long as possible, because at higher states of charge, the charging speed slows down a lot. So once your charging speed starts slowing down to 50, 40, 30 kilowatts, you're not really saving time by charging up higher. You'd be better off just disconnecting and driving until you're low again, and then plug in, and you'll have those peak speeds for longer. So for the most part, I guess charge as often as possible, but just listen to the in-car navigation. That's going to know what to do more so than trying to stop at every supercharger, because there's so many superchargers you'd never get anywhere. But thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate the support. One more question. I think see, I'm doing it too. I think Tesla needs to bite the bullet and just work on FSD in the background and put emphasis on the car itself. FSD will never really ever finish. It feels like that. I mean, I don't think they're two separate things. I don't think the team that's focusing on FSD is the same team focusing on the car itself. I think they can be two separate things. If I could suggest Tesla spend more money on anything, it would be on software, making the software better. I think there's all kinds of things they could add that would increase the desirability, whether it be CarPlay or AirPlay, or adding more services. Like in Tesla Theater mode, they have Netflix, Hulu, Disney, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. They don't have Discovery Plus. They don't have Paramount Plus. They don't have HBO. There's other things that you could add, get more games, or an app store, or a photo booth. Like, I think the interior cabin camera on Teslas is actually really, really good. And you could put filters. You could put filters on it and take pictures when you're in the car and share them around. That's free advertising, basically. You could put a Twitter app in the car, let you share things directly to Twitter, tweeted from Tesla, whatever. It takes into account if you need a long straight and want to hit warp speed for a few seconds. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I think doubling down more on free software things, or things for premium connectivity, rather than, it feels like all of the focus is on full self-driving, which is a $200 a month subscription, which costs more than what most people are probably spending on gas. It's definitely than what most are spending on electricity. I'd say more people would want that than full self-driving. Like, I think Tesla's probably spending a lot of time on making $15,000 feature better, but not much time on just making the free template OS better. I really loved it. I did a video on a bunch of free updates I got, and that was my best performing video in months. When I got the new customization options with my scroll wheel and everything, and they updated the text size and the search settings. I did a video on a free update my car got, not a paid one, and that video got like almost 70,000 views, I think. That did way better than all my videos talking about full self-driving. Or even video. I did a video experiencing full self-driving, and it didn't do that well. So, yeah, I think there's an argument to be made that Elon Musk's persona might hurt Tesla more than it helps. There's probably a bunch of people that will never buy a Tesla as long as Elon's at the company. So, yeah, I'm not saying everybody's that way, but I know people like that, and those people, I think, like, you're not gonna sway them with advertising. There's just too much Tesla bears, I think, with the mentality that, oh, there's just a bunch of people that don't know. It's like, no, I think they know. You're acting like Tesla's this little secret under a rock. It's just that they don't care, or they don't want it. Or they're not willing to listen in the first place. And if they're not willing to listen in the first place, advertising doesn't help. But anyway, I've got some more videos to work on, but I appreciate you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. Hope the audio wasn't too bad, because I love working in the car. It's so much cooler in here than inside. And I love working in here. It's a nice little office setup. So I hope you guys have an excellent rest of your day. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye. Oh, chicken update! Chicken! He's still there! But say bye, chicken. Buck, 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 buck! Buck, buck! He's just looking at me now. Okay. Bye.